Let's do AM News now. Now, a 32-year-old kidney patient is asking for help to pay her medical bills. Oneida Salam was supposed to be discharged more than a month ago after undergoing treatment at the Upper West Regional Hospital. Now, correspondent Rafi Salam, who visited her at the dialysis center, reports that she owes in excess of 10,000 Ghana cedis, and she's calling on government and benevolent organizations to help offset the bills.
In charge of the dialysis center of the Upper West Regional Hospital, Kurusa Daniel removed the veil on the myths surrounding dialysis.
Especially within our community here, people think like when you are having kidney problem and you are supposed to do dialysis, it's a death warrant, but it is not so. So we are doing our best to actually demystify that perception that the public hold.
The dialysis center of the Upper West Regional Hospital was established in November 2022 and has since attended to by dozens of patients. One of them is 32-year-old Ubeide Salam. She cannot exactly state when she had a kidney disease that requires dialysis, except to list the symptoms that force her to come to the hospital for a medical examination.
I had swollen legs, bloated stomach, puffy face, and high blood pressure. I have never been to the hospital without the doctors telling me I have high BP.
The mother of 3 every week comes to the dialysis center twice for treatment. She is required to pay at least 450 Ghana cedis for each session, an amount that she struggles to pay, considering the petty business that she is in, selling soft drinks and sachet water, carrying them overhead. Her husband is a master craftsman, but barely hard work that can take care of the family, let alone paying for dialysis.
It is difficult for us to pay for the dialysis. Sometimes we owe them, and anytime we get the money, we pay back. Our being here is being taken care of by our blood relations. We are very poor. My husband cannot afford the 450 Ghana cedis. Without the support of my family, I would have been dead by now.
Ubeide was supposed to be discharged by the hospital a month ago so that she could come into the center for the dialysis. She is however unable because she cannot offset her medical bills. Her medical bills at the hospital is a little over 10,000 Ghana cedis, including the dialysis, which she has defaulted payment of 4,200 Ghana cedis.
Because of the cost involved, so especially this woman, she's supposed to have gone home, I think last 2 months, and be coming for dialysis. But because of cost, they can't even offset the hospital bill at the ward level. So they are forced to be here and be coming for the dialysis till they pay the bill, then they go home. So for her like this, it's the cost that is keeping her. If not, she would have been home and be coming for dialysis.
Unemployed middle age, Mariam Yahya is a mother-in-law of Ubeide. She says they are at their wit ends and seem to exhaust all channels to enable them for the medical bills.
We have nowhere to go for money again, and yet our bills are piling up. It is because we are unable to offset our bills. That is why we are still here. Our people have helped us a lot. Can we continue to go to them?
Ubeide appeals to the government to consider adding dialysis to the list of medication on the National Health Insurance Scheme.
Government should take a second look at our plight and include dialysis on NHIS.
Medical Director of the Upper West Regional Hospital, Dr. Robert Amesia, however, wants a conversation of prevention of kidney diseases.
I think prevention is always better than cure. People are selling all manner of concoctions that people consume. Some are very toxic to the kidneys. What about that? So it's emotional to have people who are suffering, that are struggling to get help. But how do we prevent people from getting to that stage? Because if we don't prevent, we thought we didn't have enough patients who would have been requiring dialysis until we started our center. And we realized that even the 3 machines that we have are not adequate. It means that what we're even seeing is the tip of the iceberg. So this issue of affordability, we need to resituate it well. If everything is provided and you are able to do it for free, why not?
For now, patients undergoing dialysis at the hospital can only be grateful to the hospital for having such a facility which their survival hinges on. They are, however, pressing on the government to, in the future, be able to work through the jigsaw puzzle to make the financing of dialysis treatment free in the country.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Now to other stories, and the National Health Insurance Authority has set up a committee to review and assess whether the NHIS can absorb the cost of dialysis. This is according to the one who has been speaking for the NHIA. According to the Director of Corporate Affairs at the NHIA, Oswald Mensah, who's been speaking at a Joy News thought leadership event dubbed Dialysis Crisis. Maxwell Agbagba wraps up the event.
I'm very angry.
What's your story?
I am very angry. I'm more angrier this morning. People are dying each day. The dialysis machine in Kolebu Gospel.
Voice of activist Nasiba Bauer at a protest demanding a reduction in the cost of dialysis treatment after the Kolebu Teaching Hospital increased the cost from 380 cedis to 765 Ghana cedis. The amount has since been reversed. It triggered the Dialysis Crisis series on Joy News, highlighting the plight of 54-year-old Georgina Pia, who couldn't afford the cost of dialysis. 15-year-old Priscilla Sante, who died some hours after she was featured in the series, pleading for assistance with her dialysis treatment. Some patients with kidney failure held a press conference and said 14 of their members have died between May and September after the Kolebu Teaching Hospital limited its dialysis treatment to just emergency cases. The hospital said it had run out of consumables. The renal patients who said they were being sponsored were now compelled to pay for dialysis treatment in other facilities. Speaking during the stakeholders event held in the studios of Joy, Chief Executive Officer of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Pokuwari Ampoma, said the decision was taken because the Kolebu Teaching Hospital renal unit is suffocating under a 4 million Ghana cedis debt. He's unsure when the services will be made available to outpatients. He says the facility will also need 961,000 Ghana cedis monthly to keep the cost of dialysis at 380 Ghana cedis.
We are now engaged with government, with the ministry, with other stakeholders to see how quickly we can, find the resources to advance. Because at the moment we are sitting in a 4 million cedi hole. If we are to operate at our current capacity, which is about 2,000 dialysis sessions every month, then it means that we are going to accumulate about 961,000 cedis of debt every month, in addition to the 4 million cedis that we have already. So this is financially unsustainable.
You can't tell when exactly the OPD will be opened.
Yes, exactly.
You can't tell.
I can't. Yes.
Okay.
So it's 4 million. We have a 4 million deficit.
Okay.
And then if you are to run at full capacity,
okay,
we will need about 961,000 cedis subsidy every month to be able to maintain the current prices.
Presidential advisor on health, Dr. Anthony Nsiansari, says steps have been taken to settle the debt.
We are waiting for what they are supposed to bring and then to be worked on as quickly as possible. The money is supposed to be provided by our Ministry of Finance, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So Dr. Mpoma has to put everything that he is doing, that is being asked to do, as quickly as possible in place. If I were him, I would use 24 hours to put everything in place and present it. Yeah, so they'll present it.
You've already presented.
And
no, you're free to talk because this is direct.
I've told him what to do.
Yeah.
And then quickly, I'm sure I know what normally such things are very dear to the heart of the authorities, and it will be done.
kidney failure patient, Kojo Bafwahinkra, says most of his colleagues feel they are a burden on society, with friends deliberately not answering their calls.
Now, we are becoming a burden to the society. You pick a phone, you want to call your friend. He knows you are coming to ask for money, so you will not even pick.
Wow.
You pick a phone, maybe you want to even to say hello, maybe there's an information you are trying to ask him. He will not even answer it. Later on, he will call back and say, oh, child, I saw your call, now this Samuel. It's not true.
Now, the push for the construction of an airport to serve both the western and central regions is receiving a further boost with the release of a feasibility report for an airport in either the central or western region or between the two regions. According to engineer Leslie Alex Ayer, senior partner for Ayer and Ayer, the consultant who worked on the feasibility studies, constructing the airport will open up the economy and create jobs for thousands of Ghanaians.
You just look at Ethiopia. Look at the per capita income of Ethiopia as compared to Ghana. And tell me whether that's important or not important. You see, when connectivity increases, the lifestyle of the people would improve. Healthcare, because then you can do, if you have an international healthcare center here, it's easy to get to Ghana. Yes. So there's a direct correlation between improved connectivity and then the standard of living. Because listen, if we were to give people, you see, you share riches, you don't share poverty. People will live a better lifestyle if industry booms. And industry cannot boom. You cannot have the markets if you're just selling to the Ghana market. Things become expensive. You know, numbers just reduces costs of operation. If you have a bigger market, your cost of operation then goes down. Then industry improves, there are more jobs, etc. Because if you are building for 3 million people and suddenly you're building for 16 million people, that's 5 times. It means that your labor, then people have jobs. Unemployment just goes down. Your country looks better. And there's a ripple effect there, direct, indirect. Look, if I build an airport, taxi drivers around make money. Those selling other products, they make money around the airport. Tell me if it were not there. Drivers will be lying in their cars and they'll be sleeping. But this car rental, hotels, you're generating jobs around the area. And tell me if there's not a priority. The priority is to create jobs. And they do something that will generate jobs, that will alleviate poverty. I believe in wealth generation, not poverty alleviation, wealth generation. If you generate wealth, you eradicate poverty. That's it.
President Akufo-Addo says his government will not relent on efforts to make teaching in Ghana a comfortable job. Speaking at the Ghana Teachers Prize Awards ceremony, he admitted that despite their best effort, teachers will face considerable challenges.
We come together not only to honor the teachers who have devoted their lives to shaping the minds of past, present, and future generations, but also to recognize the paramount role education plays in the development of our nation. Teachers play crucial parts in preserving and transmitting this heritage to the next generation. They are the torchbearers of our values, our traditions, and our ideals that bind us together as Ghanaians. However, we cannot ignore the challenges that our teachers face in their noble profession. From inadequate resources to limited professional development opportunities, these hurdles can sometimes hinder their ability to provide the quality education our children deserve. It is our collective responsibility to address these issues and create an enabling environment where our teachers can thrive and continue to impact lives. I stand before you today, committed to ensuring that our teachers receive the recognition, support, and resources they need. We will continue to work tirelessly to improve the conditions in which they teach and to provide continuous opportunities for their professional growth.
Now, Africa Education Watch and Action Aid have jointly unveiled a comprehensive report on educational financing with a spotlight on the effect of meager budgetary allocations on the development of school infrastructure. The report says this impedes effective academic work. Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, emphasizes the urgent need for government to adopt the report's recommendations.
The Tax Policy and Education Financing Qualitative Report, a collaborative effort by EduWatch and Action Aid Ghana, investigates the repercussions of existing tax reforms on education funding. The findings reveal that Ghana allocates only 13.1% of its national budget to education, falling short of the UNESCO recommended benchmark of 15%. The report underscores that delays in budgetary allocations, coupled with the District Assembly Common Fund failing to meet constitutional requirements, compel local assemblies to rely heavily on internally generated funds. This source often proves inadequate for funding essential school projects. To address these challenges, the report advocates innovative revenue mobilization strategies at the local level and suggests penalties for defaulting taxpayers. According to Executive Director of EduWatch, Kofi Asare, these changes, if implemented, promise to enhance the quality of education, particularly for underprivileged individuals.
Location, their socioeconomic status, so that they're able to access quality basic education. District assemblies are at the center of the provision of basic education. Per our pre-tertiary education law, it is the mandate of these assemblies to build schools and provide education infrastructure. The challenge has been that over the years we've seen a virtual stagnation in the number of basic schools being built. In many municipalities, we are hardly building even one school in a year. And as the research has pointed out, in Adenta, for instance, in the past 4 years, we've been able to build only 2 primary schools. If you have a municipality where over 90% of basic schools belong to private owners, it limits the ability of the urban poor to have access to basic education, which is free. And so this research and convening is aimed at finding innovative approaches to financing basic education, especially basic education infrastructure, both soft and hard, and I mean decks and buildings in local assemblies.
Karen Obing's report read to you.
Now, still on education, Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Dr. Eric Nkansa, is urging students to take STEM education serious. Speaking during a tour of some educational institutions in the Sekeni Takoradi metropolis as part of activities to mark this year's Teachers' Day, he indicated that there were more opportunities for students who want to pursue STEM education at the tertiary level. There is more in the following report.
Education Service, Dr. Eric Nkansa said he was impressed with the performance of the schools and applauded the Western Regional Director of Education, Felicia Ejebia Okai, for her great innovation and leadership. He advised the students to take STEM education serious, adding that there is a pre-engineering program for interested students.
Yes, the pre-engineering program is a program which has been introduced by the Ministry of Education under the leadership of Honorable Dr. Yao Seyeduchum. And it's supposed to do one thing: help our learners who, for one reason or the other, didn't pursue any program in science at the secondary school. So for those who did visual arts, those who did business, those who did home economics, and then even general arts, okay, we'll still give them another window of opportunity to do 1 year, more or less, pre-university program, which will prepare them into a major engineering program at the university. And currently it's being done at University of Mines and Technology, UMAT, and then Pentecost University in Accra. 2 cohorts are already in school now. The feedback we are getting is that the kids who went in there to be groomed for 1 year for fixes, mathematics, engineering, drawing, and other subjects related to STEM are doing very well, because you need to pass that stage. Once you pass, then you can choose any engineering program of your choice. We understand they are doing very well, competing, and in some cases out competing even those who did science. So that is a program that for those who did not even do science here at the secondary school still have the opportunity to take, especially if they have the desire to become engineers.
After his tour at Secondary College, a Hanselman Girls Senior High School, the Abene Senior High School, among others, Dr. Eric Nkansa met the professional learning community of Archbishop Porter's Girls Senior High School to discuss the various ways of teaching challenges, topics, and implementing the curriculum for the second cycle institution.
Today I'm going to observe, not just observe, but take part in the professional learning community. That is a community of teachers where they come together to discuss various ways of teaching, challenging topics, and then also the implementation of the new curriculum that we are putting up for the secondary schools. How to implement, how to teach it, where there are difficulties, how we are able to complement each other. And it's something that has been introduced at a basic level and is doing very well at the secondary school too. This year we have started and we are implementing it across the country. So I have to come and observe how it is going and then participate in the process for them to know that indeed the whole GES is behind this and it's something that we want to stay. And I'm sure once it comes to stay, it is going to help teaching and learning in our schools.
For Joy News, in Athalia Kwanza, Western Region.
Now, in the quiet corridors of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology's Brunei complex, there is a battle for the bells and ringers. Contestants of this year's National Science and Maths Quiz have transformed their rooms into arenas of intellectual warfare ahead of the preliminary stage, which starts today. Jacqueline and Sumayabua reports.
Ukwas, what is the SI unit of the following physical quantities and determine whether they are scalar or vector quantities?
A, 3,6.
Contestants have been tirelessly prepping ahead of the National Science and Maths Quiz preliminary contest.
How long could you stay in a day prior to this contest?
Out of the 24 hours, 18.
Their dedication echoes in the midnight oil they burn, their textbooks worn from relentless study, and minds sharpened like the finest blade. They say the early bird indeed catches the worm. The hallways of Brunei complex echo with the sound of bells, ringers, and passionate debate.
The next school: A, 0,2, B, 8,1, and C, 7,3.
Yeah, yes, right. 7.5 square meters. That's correct.
For NIFA SHS, Equipaman SHS, and McGee's, they have converged to understand the significance of preparation.
NIFA luminous intensity.
So it is candela and it is a scalar quantity.
That is also correct.
Their trainer believes that the students are well prepared and the daunting task ahead shouldn't be much of a hurdle to cross.
Yeah, we are very prepared for the contest ahead and we are very confident in them. They can make us proud.
As the preliminary contest begins, these young minds are not just participants, they are beacons of knowledge, illuminating the path to a brighter future. Their commitment reminds us that in the pursuit of excellence, every moment of preparation counts. For Joy News, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
Or it is a scalar quantity.
All right, I'll give it to you.
And that's how we wrap up the AM news here on the Joy News channel. Up next is the news review, but remember there's more news on myjoyonline.com. Good morning. Good morning to you. If you're in the office, wherever, grateful that you've allowed us to be part of your morning. Let's get into what the papers are reporting, and let me welcome one of the people I so much admire in this house. Senior Elton Brobe, we call him the Honorable. People call him His Excellency. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I trust all is well.
I'm doing good, Koyo.
Nice.
I hope you are good too.
I'm well, you know.
You went away for a while. The last time. The next time you will be like 12 months away.
I remember you said to me, I said, Masa, leave now, I want to do. I'm saying, okay, then I'm cutting it off, I'm coming. Once the senior says, watch it, it means I watch it.
You all need rest at some point.
Yeah, Charlie, it's very important. Anyway, let's get into the papers. But before we get into it, do you have any issue you would want to have a take on before?
I think yesterday we had a very exciting event. Yesterday, the dialysis crisis.
Yeah.
And the quality of the people we brought together to shed light on this very important matter. And I was telling Kojo Nyakon, about the story that he did about the 15-year-old girl eventually died. So yesterday I had some friends who came together to mobilize some funds for
the parents.
Yeah, the parents.
Oh.
But the woman had complained about the hospital costs and the fact that she need about 4,000 Ghana cedis. That is an outstanding cost to pay at the hospital before she can have access to the body. So some few friends of mine called and they mobilized some amount, and I'm very hopeful that it will go a long way to help the woman, cover the cost at the hospital and possibly have some to move her life forward. But I mean, yesterday I listened to it.
Thanks to them.
Yeah, thanks to them.
Yeah.
So now the thing is that we all need to take our health very seriously. We all need to undertake, regular checkup to establish our state of health. It's very important because if you don't do so, by the time you do it, or by the time you get to it, you'll be at the end stage of whatever you need to battle, and then you become a burden. Now some of them complain. I mean, it's not easy raising 1,000 cedis every week in this current circumstances to go to dialysis treatment.
It's serious.
I'm told that you need to spend like 3 hours in the machine before you can get your blood purified for you to go through. And you want to do this for 3 days in a week. That to me is not something that is very comfortable. So
which means that in a month you spend 4,000.
Yeah, in a month 4,000.
So our friend Thomas Khan, who's been on it for 10 years.
Yes.
If a month is going to be 4,000, then it means a year he spends 48,000.
Yes.
By 10 years.
Yes, that's a lot of money. And so the other treatment or the other option is that you need to be able to go for transplant.
Yeah.
Which in itself is also very expensive.
Very.
And then the medication that comes after it. So once you have issues with your kidney, it's not a child's play. And apart from the fact that this 15-year-old girl who died obviously didn't get it because of smoking or lifestyle issues. Obviously may have inherited from the parents or maybe
or the family
through a defect during childbirth and all those issues. So for those who may be at risk or exposed to some of the things that will speed you into getting kidney disease, you need to be on the lookout and you need to take very good care of yourself. Now, you Google it, you get all the answers you want. So if these facts are available before you and you still want to get yourself involved in things that will get you into this circumstance, the clearly it's a choice that you have to make. But I think that we all need to take our health very seriously.
Yeah. Regular checkup.
Regular
checkup. Very
Yeah,
important.
exactly.
Last, Kweku was telling me that now they say we have to do, is it 4 times a year?
According to the World Health Organization, the standard is that everybody, I mean, if you are 40 and above, you have to undertake medical checkup at least 4 times in a year. So every quarter, you go through it. Now, the Ghana Health Service data is pointing to 1 or none at all for a lot of Ghanaians, 40 years and above. So people are working with all manner of health conditions they don't know. And you see, once you get up in the morning, you are able to do your normal chores without any difficulty. You assume that you are okay. But that's not the case. Hypertension is a killer. A lot of people don't even know. Now, the small machine that helps you to check your blood pressure every morning or every evening, it's out there. You don't need to go to a hospital to have a check. Even on my mobile phone, there's an app where I can easily do and then check my stress level and all those things. So I do that every morning and every evening before I sleep. So you can stay healthy if you know your state of health. But if you don't know your state of health, you are at risk of, contracting things that you may not be ready for. And it's very important that you do so.
I think even for the BP machine in the pharmacies, it's free.
It's free. I mean,
you can just walk into the pharmacy and say, I want to check
my
BP, and they will do it for you. So we need to. The other time I went to the hospital with some pains at my groin, they scanned and they didn't see anything. And the lady was, why are you doing that? I said, well, I had some pain and I wanted to check that I'm okay, So we need to be regular at the hospitals to check up. Let's get into it.
So let's get into the papers. And this morning, the biggest news, of course, is the fact that there's recognition for teachers, which is very important. I mean, we have beauty pageants and all those issues, but now it looks like the recognition for teachers is getting bigger and bigger every year. So the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we are committed to investing in teachers to ensure quality education of Ghanaian children. That's according to President Akufo-Addo. And yesterday, the National Teachers Award came off successfully. And if you have been following the news, the best teacher walked home with a 3-bedroom apartment.
Yes.
And
even the first runner-up got a 4x4.
A 4x4. I mean,
and yesterday she was just crying. And I could feel, her excitement. They said tears of joy. She came there from Accra. And the two of them are coming from Accra. So she went to Takrade on a bus, and she's coming back with their own private car.
That to me is awesome. And I think that the organizers, the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service, and that's the presidency, we need to commend them for this. Back in the days, the saying was that the reward of the teacher is in heaven.
It's in heaven.
And they are experiencing it. And that for me is a bolster for. And what government has to do now is to improve conditions
service.
Yes, of course. Teachers. I mean, especially those who are set posting to very remote areas in the country, because if you are in Accra and in the big cities like Kumasi, Takoradi, and the rest, if you have, because some amenities are available, it's easier for you to have the peace of mind to go to without thinking of where to, electricity and everything. But in the rural areas, even
in the city, you can even do another job.
Yes.
Yesterday, I was telling the story of a teacher, Herbert Achampon, who is in a place called Subri.
Okay.
Subri is one of those communities in Wassa East, in the Western region. Now, since he completed teacher training, all his postings have been to the rural community. And when he gets there, for Subri, for example, when he got there, they were learning under a shed. He said, well, we have to correct this. So he, through some connections, got one of the gold mining companies to construct a 6-unit classroom block for them. He had trained the student in coding, when he went there, they didn't have sanitary facilities. He ensured that the mining company got them a sanitary facility. So it's like someone who's gone into the rural area and saying
making difference.
Exactly.
It's good. People like that need to be celebrated.
Yeah, but one thing he said was that on a World Teachers Day, what teachers need is for their salaries to be increased.
Of course, they say that the biggest motivation you can give anybody is money.
Yeah.
The other thing, money can buy every other thing.
Exactly.
So give me the money and let me buy whatever I want. So we say congratulations to teachers. Yeah, in my primary school days, one of the teachers that I admired so much, Mrs. Danso, and then Mrs. Osei.
Okay.
Mrs. Osei is still alive. She lives at Sakaman.
Oh, okay.
If you are doing the watching this morning, I say good morning. I want to congratulate you for investing your knowledge in us when we're doing about things. Your people like you and what you did in our lives is what advocates is for, and we appreciate all you did for us. So to all teachers, we say, are you cool?
Yeah, to all our teachers, we love them so much, because without them, we wouldn't have been where we are today. So we salute all teachers, and we pray that God richly blesses you. But once at it, we pray that government would try and do something about your conditions of service. Again, on the same thing, people in the rural area, the one thing I pray from the teacher is that accommodation is also something that they should look at. Says people are paying 200 cedis, and so in rural areas, how much do they earn? You know, and then so maybe if landlords could do something about it for teachers. If the person is teaching, can you consider how much you take? Maybe, I don't know how that could be done, but I'm sure landlords could work something out. That if the person is teaching in your community, then you probably look at how much you take.
But beyond even the role that the landlords can play, there's what about nuts? I mean, my information is that on the government payroll, teachers form the majority. We have so many teachers, so nuts as an association of teachers, they take some money from them every month. I know that in the regions they have NAS hostels, which is highly subsidized for teachers if they want to access it. But beyond that, it's not interested in investing in accommodation, for example, for teachers in rural communities. Because let me give you a typical example. When I was living in Sunyane, and at the time, Newmont had done their exploration and had discovered that they had discovered gold in large quantities in the Hafu area. And so when they started mining, the information we had back then was that some people were forced out of their homes because the mining company had employed so many people in their catchment areas. And because of availability of money, those who were not working with the mines found it difficult to pay the rent that was because the landlord had increased, in some cases, 500%. So some teachers were, evicted from their homes because people had come to the town with a lot of money and they were looking for places to rent. And it affected a lot of government employees, especially teachers. So my thinking this morning is that not collect so much money every month from teachers. I know that the money goes into Provident Fund, it go into other retirement packages for teachers. But then I'm also thinking that, here in Accra, they have properties that they are renting out to big companies and they make money out of it. Why not also invest in putting up structures, especially in communities? And it will obviously be for your own members.
Exactly.
Own members. Government cannot be there, cannot be everywhere. And I think that probably may have to consider this and go into this.
This is an important suggestion. I hope they take it. Yeah. So I think it's the same thing that Daily Graphic photography.
Also on the Finder as well, on the front page of the publisher.
Okay.
The same. So it's a day for teaching.
Yeah. So let's just mention the name of the best teacher for 2023. It's Faith Adaklu Tsrefe, 37-year-old female teacher at the Greta D. Shepherd 2 Basic School at Awoshi in the Ghana Central Municipality of the Greater Accra region. So she was the best teacher for 2023.
And I guess at the same event, there's this concern that now it's not the exodus of nurses and doctors, not only in the health profession. Now teachers are also being they're
also leaving.
They're also leaving, and the last time I checked, thousands of them have already left for the United Kingdom. So you would find more Ghanaian teachers teaching in classrooms in the United Kingdom. Very interesting. And so the Minister for Education says that there's no cause for worry, and they have enough teachers to fill the classrooms. The question is, in terms of teacher to students ratio, the reason why I know that most parents would like to enroll their children in private schools is that they are, for example, there's a school where I know they don't admit more than 15 pupils in a class.
Okay.
So the teacher has
ample time
to deal with their students one-on-one. In the public school, sometimes 50, 60, 80 in one classroom. Sometimes they don't even have chairs or desks to sit on. We know the existence of schools under trees and then people studying under structures that could easily collapse on them. So investment hasn't really been that much in terms of schools across the country, even though government has done a lot. So what is government doing in this direction? People are leaving because maybe they find the conditions or whatever packages they are given very attractive than what is existing now. Government need to invest more in some of these areas. It's not enough to say that we have enough teachers to fill in the gaps. Your experienced teachers are the ones who have been taken away.
Just like
it will take years. It will take years for you to replace somebody who has been on the service for 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And I think that it is not enough to say that we have a lot more teachers, so if people are leaving, we shouldn't be concerned. We should be concerned.
Yeah, exactly. Because the fundamental thing that this points to is the lack of better conditions of service. That's what people are moving. So you need to look at that. Yeah.
We need to look at that.
Anyway, so it's been a morning for the teachers, and we hope that the government will listen and make sure that things work well. Now, just in relation to this, and still on education, when you check page 16 of the Daily Graphic, it says BEC marking begins Monday. That's according to WAEC. Now, the marking of script of this year's Basic Education Certificate examination will commence on Monday, 9th October, the West African Examination Council has said. You remember that there was this whole thing about lack of money, and so there were challenges in marking, but now we're being told that the marking will begin on Monday, 9th October.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So again, in the papers this month, the Finder also has the celebration of our teachers. Blind Teachers Association urges Ghana Education Service to pay attention to them. Also very important. They think that their challenge should have been a barrier, and that the Ghana Education Service must look at. Ghanaian win prestigious African Continental Teacher Award. So we are not only are we winning in Ghana, we are also winning. The story is that Besma Kwame Tunu, a chemistry teacher at the Pokuari Senior High School, won the African Union Continental Best Teacher Award. 7 other outstanding teachers from Kenya, Mauritania, Malawi, Mauritius, Morocco, Nigeria, and South Africa also won awards. Best Teacher Awards are a great way to recognize outstanding teachers. So this chemistry teacher from Opokuari School in Kumasi emerged as the Africa Union Continental Best Teacher Award. So we are making it clearly, it demonstrates the quality of the Ghanaian teacher. To the extent that we are winning on the continent, we're winning in Ghana, winning on the continent. It tells you, and if we are also attracting, countries like UK to take our teachers, it goes on to say that at the foundation level we are doing something great, and that is what is manifesting in the kind of output that is giving them the awards that we are seeing today. So kudos to our teachers.
Just as you mentioned that we are attracting the global attention, for our teachers. Let me share a story of one Davi Akofa. She's not a teacher, she's a nurse. Okay? But she says, I've always wanted a life of passion and adventure. I have paid heavily the price for such want, but hey, I keep going. I had an interesting experience aboard KLM Royal Dutch Airlines a few days ago. I was deep into my sleep when I heard shout in the plane. Looked like a medical emergency of some sort. Now, long story short, there was an emergency on the flight. And then she didn't want to venture because she was not a doctor, but there was no doctor on the plane. So she went there to try to help. In the end, she helped save the patient. And everybody was asking, where did she get her training? And she said, oh, Ghana. And she said the adrenaline rush that she experienced. It's like, and everybody said, oh, Ghana. She got a message from the KLM vice president in charge of customer service. And that's really, is that it? A customer experience. Right. And that excites her that, in the end, she has sold Ghana to the people who were on the flight, and even to KLM to show the sort of training we are giving to our teachers and nurses in Ghana. So, it's not everything that is so gloom.
No, at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Just that
not at all.
There are a lot of things we need to get better, but we're not bad at all. If you look at our teachers making a name for Ghana, our nurses making a name for Ghana, it shows that look, there's some potential.
Because basically, countries like the United Kingdom, United States will not rely so much on our nurses and doctors if they are not qualified to do the kind of work that they want them to come to their countries and do. We have the Ghana Health Service signing an agreement with Barbados, a country in South America, where Ghanaian nurses have been posted to that country to work. So clearly, the training regime that exists in this country, I am absolutely optimistic that it is the best. That is the reason why our people are not disgracing us. Because if they are not capable, I'm sure by now we'll be hearing something different.
Okay. All right. Now, are you done with?
So the Finder again has pictures of the National Teachers Award yesterday. All the papers Adaklu Tsrefe arrest 3 suspects. Can you imagine what they stole? ECG transformer.
Oh.
ECG transformer. So 3 suspects have been arrested by residents of Adaklu and released to the Volta Regional Police Command for attempting to steal a transformer in the early hours of Thursday. Now, they managed to pull down the transformer from the Python, from the ECG pole. I don't know whether there was power outage in the area that gave them the kind of confidence they had to go. I mean, we have pictures that, you know, a whole transformer on an electric pole pulled down by these chiefs. Luckily, the residents in the area arrested them. I mean, looking from their faces, clearly they've been given some good beating, and then handed over, to the police. But I mean,
were they going to sell it?
Of course. I mean,
but do people buy such transformers in this country?
Well, I'm sure there's market for it. That's how come they will take this dangerous adventure to bring down a transformer. A transformer.
Oh.
That is how bad it is, and that's how bad it is getting. So they've moved away from cutting cables or stealing cables to now stealing transformer.
What I'm gathering is that they export these devices,
of course,
to neighboring countries.
Of course. Or better so, they will just dismantle and sell
Really?
And this costs a lot of money. So
yes.
I mean, if you look at three of them, clearly something that they've been doing, but they've graduated from stealing cables and now they want to now be stealing transformers. So they managed to bring the transformer down from the electric pole, and whilst in the process of lifting it, I'm sure it became too heavy for them. And then the residents pounced on them, gave them good beating. I don't support instant justice, but if you look at their faces, they clearly, I remember the story in Kumasi.
Yes,
back then, the late former mayor of Kumasi, the late Akosi Ajuman, may he so rest in peace. And I remember, you know, when it was the KMA mayor in Kumasi, there was a lot of agitation by women. They always have issues with the KMA, especially when they have to move to one market or to decongest the city. So there was one decongestion exercise in Kumasi, and back then I was a kid, so I was listening to Garden City Radio. So they called a reporter on the ground. The man's name is, I think he's also late, Boisian Ponsa. And then he was on the phone. They asked him, also, what is happening in Kumasi? So because there had been claims that Nana Kwesi Adjuman had been, you know, accosted by the traders and his state was unknown and all those. So everybody was, you know, in a pensive mode to hear what was happening to Nana Kwesi. So they called this reporter, Boisian Ponsam, and then I think the conversation was interesting. So they asked him, and then the issue was, oh, Nana Kwesi Adjuman, they are called the video, you are not going to So yeah, I mean, whatever you have experienced, only you can tell. When you look at the face of these teams, clearly only them can tell what has gone into their skin. So that is it. I mean, we'll condemn it. We'll condemn it to the extent that they've got the bravery
to go and steal ECG transformer.
That is worrying.
In Takrady, I used to work with, I mean, when you go to Takrady, he's a very popular man there, in Shara Park, Simpson. He abhorred stealing.
Yeah.
So sometimes when people, and he had a lot of, when initially that happens in the Western region, he will get it. So on radio, he will say, Imize, Michele Wisem, so so do never bring you, but they read their brother, man can't say, you know. And he was constantly saying this because sometimes these people, look at what they've done. They want to steal a transformer.
The whole transformer.
It's something else. Anyway.
Dr. Fiyakoto Mons with J. Kufuor. So you have pictures of the former Food and Agric Minister who is now bidding to lead the MPP in the 2024 election. Yesterday, he paid a courtesy call on former President Kufuor to commiserate with the family following the demise of the former First Secretary Kufuor. Also in the house was independent presidential aspirant Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen. And then yesterday was quite there was quite a representation also from the NDC led by former President John Mahama. I know the MPP, some members of the MPP, the information minister, some personnel from the Jubilee House also paid courtesy call on Mr. Kufuor to commiserate with him. The family is yet to announce details for the one-week celebration in line with custom of their country tradition, and of course the funeral arrangement as well. So a picture of Dr. Fiyakoto signing the book of condolence, and also exchanging pleasantries with former President Kufuor and the family at his Pediasi home yesterday.
May her soul
rest
rest
in
in
perfect
perfect peace. Well, the Daily Guide newspaper now, and this is what everybody has. Okay, most people have been talking about, especially on social media. Now, I won't resign. NDC BOG Governor Tango, and that's a story on page 3. It's a response of the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, to that demonstration that the NDC minority, had at the premises of BOG. Now, he says that he's not going to resign. I've seen some words attributed to him, and I think there's been some reactions of a sort to that. I don't know, but he says that
he will not resign.
He will not resign.
But that is for him to say. I know that if two things are involved here, either he resign or he is pushed by the appointing authority. For now, there's no indication that that's going to happen. The NDC are not happy with the way the governor responded to this matter and this interview.
Because just to buttress what you're saying, he says, Dr. Addison, however, has rejected the opposition's request to resign, claiming that a minority MP should have used a more appropriate approach for advancing their issues as pertained in, quote, civilized societies, unquote, rather than protesting in the street as, quote, hooligans, unquote.
I think those are very strong words
to
use to describe this group of people who are demanding your head. And they have every right to do so, because if you look at the losses the Bank of Ghana posted, 60.8 billion Ghana, unprecedented in the workings of the Bank of Ghana. And the bank has come out to explain the reason why. Now, if you want to look at central banks across the world and the impact COVID had on the economies across the world, most central banks came to the rescue of their respective countries. We can talk about the UK, we can talk about the US, and all manner of things. Now, in Ghana, this is what the central bank is saying, that if they had not stepped in, Ghana would have been in a very bad situation. That is the explanation from the Bank of Ghana. The NDC or the minority doesn't want to have any of this. They insist that it is due to mismanagement of the central bank that has brought us to where we are, and goes on to make the point that Bank of Ghana is virtually in a very bad state. Bank of Ghana says that they are on course. In fact, things are beginning to change for them. Now, I've tried to, when I first heard of the resignation rejection by the governor of the Bank of Ghana, I think I spoke to one of our colleagues at Joy Business.
Okay.
And he has a very good relationship with the governor. So I think the information I got, unless the Bank of Ghana governor come up to deny or confirm it, the information I got and the impression I got was that this was supposed to be an informal discussion.
Oh, okay.
And then it found itself in the media space.
Oh, okay. So it's accredited to one.
Yes, exactly. There's a magazine that
business website known as Central Banking.
Yes. So there is an ongoing meeting, and what I'm picking is that there may have been an informal discussion with this reporter.
Oh.
And then only to now find expression in the media space. So, but whether informal or formal, to describe a demonstration of about 50,000 or more people as acting as hooligans, I don't think it best respond to the reason why they poured in the streets of Accra to protest what they want to describe as the mismanagement of the bank. As to whether you resign or not, that is up to you and the one who appointed you. But to describe these guys as hooligans, I think it's in bad taste.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can we do the publisher now?
And then Auto Forcing refused settlement claims. Remember, there's this ambulance matter that is in court. The case against Dr. Auto Forcing is that he signed the letter that authorized the importer to bring him the buses, which was supposed to be ambulance, but turned out to be containers, if you like. And then the company has written to the Attorney General's office saying that they are prepared to pay an amount of 2.7 million euros to cover the contract sum. So the agreement, if accepted by the Office of the Attorney General, will mean a discontinuation of the case in court. That means everybody goes home peacefully. That is what the paper is alleging.
Okay.
That Atuforsen is backing the proposal by the importers to government that the reason why we are in court is a contention over 2.7 million euros that was supposed to have resulted in the importation of the ambulance. And then what came into the country was not ambulance, but rather containers or cargo vehicles.
Yeah.
And so they want to pay off the money. If they pay off, Atuforsen and the rest who are in court
will be
because then of course the Attorney General will discontinue the case. The Attorney General office has no interest in settling this matter in terms of taking the money. And there was report that Atuforsen is backing this, but he has come out to say that it is not true.
That he's backing it.
Exactly. That he has vehemently denied claims published on the front page of some papers, including the Daily Guide, that he is scheming to get the importer to pay this money so that he will walk on free. And that is nothing like that. Gabi worried about family feud, and I'm sure it is a leading member of the ECG unity to prevail in the party ahead of the 2024 general elections, according to Gabi Ochedakum. The current internal wranglings going on in the MPP is a result of the family feud over a contest to pick a person to lead a family and an immediate actual battle against another family. In a Facebook post, Mr. Ochedakum intimated that the real battle for the MPP is in the success of the party to pick someone who will face the NDC. And so that's it. I mean, it looks like the party itself is clearly, or it's not well
within the party.
Going into the November 4 and the 2024 general elections.
Let's see how they handle this issue, but it will be interesting to see how they do it. Well, thank you so much, Elton.
All right.
Coming through.
So you have a great Friday morning.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, this was brought to us by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, and they are offering free prostate screening and free female fertility screening. Their locations, you can find one at Accra Spintex opposite Shell Signboard, Kumasi Kronoma Bohia, behind Angel Educational Complex. In Takrady, locate them at Anaje Estate, Tema Community 22, Tichiman, Hanswa, and in Nzima area, we are in Esiama. Call 0244 867068 or 0274 234321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic diseases. Well, let's do the AM show. Now, water is life. Awake is premium purified water treated through a strict purification process to ensure that every bottle on the market refreshes you better. We have the perfect sizes for all purposes, 330 ml and 500 ml bottles to fit your pockets and bags, 750 ml for the heavy drinkers, and 1.5 liters for those who always want more. Our 19-liter jar bottles are ideal for homes and offices. All you must do now is drink Awake Purified Drinking Water wherever you go. Choose a bottle of Awake Purified Drinking Water today and get quality hydration. Awake Purified Drinking Water, we say one for life. You know why? Because for every bottle you buy, an amount is donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center to help people who go through that center. Another quality product by the Casapreco Company Limited. For bulk purchase, please call 0262 351251, 0262 351251. This advert is FDA approved. Well, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we have Prime Take with Muftau Abdullahi Nabila. Stay on.
Bent at Winneba Road.
Oh, okay.
And he died. He has come to pick up my pictures, going to enlarge most of my pictures with Pele and Bakiba. And my album, 6 albums that I brought from US was all bent.
That's quite unfortunate.
When you enter my living room here, the only thing you see on the top is plaques from all the different tribes in Ghana, and also football, and also churches, plaques all over. It's about, I would say about 25 or 30.
Wow.
After staying in US for 40 years.
I'll come back to you staying in the US for 40 years and how that impacted your life. But where did you grow up?
I was born at Fidiem in Bron, Afo. By that time, the name of the place that I was born was called Afu, Fidiem, near Koso Tepa, Kanyasi, and Mim. We are in the middle of Ahafu. That's where I started my school from, class 1 to Form 4. And after I finished my school in 1952, I continued my commercial education. That was business at Kumasi, Adebi. Near Kumasi Technical, and also at Sumwasi. That's where I took 1 year course in my commercial education. Then my second year, when I was about to start my second year, there was a problem between me and the housemaster. So I said, I'm not going to continue my education at Swansea, Adebi Business School. So my second year, I traveled to Agona Radio, where my life started. You know, and I was so glad that I made that move to Agona Radio, because at the same time I was playing football with Cape Coast Vipers, and my local team was Swedro All Blacks.
Okay.
So the other clubs comes to hire me to go and play for them. The only money they will give me is 2 shillings after picking me up from school, and then after the match they bring me back to the school. The teams that I was playing for, Cape Coast Vipers and Grand Swedro All Blacks. And after completing my course at 1 year, I wanted to go back to Kumasi, but the chief Omanhine of Agona Swedro says they weren't going to let me go. So I should stay Swedro and help All Blacks because I was good in scoring. So they got me a job at Swedro Urban Council.
Okay.
I was short-time typist. By that time, they call it stenographer.
Okay.
So they put me on Swedro Urban Council while I was playing for Swedro All Blacks and then Cape Coast Vipers.
What happened between you and your housemaster?
Oh, I think there was a book. I was in boarding.
Yes.
And there was a book that I didn't have. But he told me that the cost of the book was almost about, I've forgotten about the correct amount. He said I should buy it before coming to the next school, the next day.
Yes.
And I told him that I don't have the money. I have to call. By that time, there was no phone like mobile. At the weekend, I'll go back to my village, get the money from my mother, and then come back and pay for the book. He said, no. Then I should leave the class. So I slapped him. And then went to the dormitory and packed all my things and left for video.
So you don't regret slapping your teacher?
I was so mad. I was so mad. I have a quick temper. I didn't realize I've done something wrong. Not until the next day. But I was then at William. So there are so many schools, business schools around.
Yeah.
I decided to go to Agnes Radio. But by going to Agnes Radio, that ended my life the way it is now.
So how would you describe your days at Agnes Radio?
Agnes Radio, after staying there for five good years, I was making money. When they come and pick me up, Vipers will also, when they are going to play matches at Accra, they come and pick me up and getting money. to subsidize me in doing things in aggressive way. So I was so popular within that area, central region, that they have got a player from Kumasi. And so there was one day when...
This was in the 1950s, right?
Yeah, that was 1950. Because I left school 52, 53 was Kumasi, 54 was Agros Radio. At the end of the year, 54, that it was from 54 up to 57. Because my first international match with Nigeria national team was 1957. Ghana versus Nigeria at Onikai Stadium.
So I'll come to the national team career, but at what point did you get to Kumasi Asante Kotoko?
There was a match between Cape Coast Vipers, friendly match between Cape Coast Vipers and Asante Kotoko at Aguna Diakwa. You know where Dan Kokuyebwa comes from?
Yes.
Yeah. So the match took place at Aguna Diakwa. And within that area, I used to go and play football. They come and say, board pa. They call that board pa.
Oh, okay.
So they come and hire me. I go, after the match, they bring me back to the school. The only money they will give you is 2 shillings, 1 shilling.
That's the currency we were spending then?
At that time. And there was a lot of money. We call it a lot of money for being a student. So after Vipers and Kotoko at Aguna Biakwa, so the president for Cape Coast Vipers was Mr. Ohene. He used to work at Information Services at Cape Coast. He is the one who spoke to me that every match they will get, they will call me and come. They will bring a taxi, will take me to Cape Coast or wherever, surrounding the area, like Sekandi, Takrady, Accra. There was a time Olympics also called me to come and play for them in a friendly match. By that time, they don't register you.
That's the point. That's where I was coming to. Because if you're not under contract, you can go and play for any team at all you wanted.
Money, that's all. So that match was Cape Coast Vipers and Asante Kotoko. The match didn't play. The match didn't go on at Aguna Diakwa. The match was arranged to be played at Bekwai Gemfis Park.
Okay.
So they picked me up from Oswego, and then we drove on the road to Bekwai. And the score was 2-1 against Kotoko. And I was the one who scored those 2 goals.
So Kotoko picked you up?
Kotoko, just listen. After playing that match, Kotoko people said they want me to be part of the Kotoko. And I heard that Kotoko is not a small team. They have good players like Babaya, Asabi Boachi, Fred Kufo,
CK
Genfi. No, by that time, CK Genfi has formed his own club, Great Ashantis.
And that was after he broke away from Kotoko?
That's right. So, hey, I was the one who scored those 2 goals against Kotoko. So Kotoko were interested in me, that they wanted me to play for them. And I heard that they have good players. So when I go, I don't think I'll be able to be in the first team. So if I'm a Swedo, let me remain Swedo and play for another few years. After that match, in about 2 months later, Kotoko people sent people to come and take me back to Kumasi to discuss with me if I want to come to. I told them that I'm not ready now. By that time, I've met my wife. She was in Form 4.
Okay.
Trying to finish school at Presbyterian School at Adaklu Tsrefe. And I said, my new lover, very beautiful lady, and I stayed with her for almost getting to about 55 to 60 years. She passed away 2016.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So
we can say one of the reasons why you were elected to go to Kotoko was because of your wife.
Yeah, that's right. So my wife said, hey, come on, let's go to Kumasi. Because they are from Bonye, not far from Kumasi. And she was also interested that we should move from Swedro to Kumasi. And I told her that let him spend some few more years to develop my skill playing football. So after a couple of years, I decided that we should move to Kumasi. I went to Kumasi. And when I got there, boy, by that time, the stadium was Jackson's Park, near Town Hall.
Yeah.
Now they call it Jubilee Park. And the day that I stopped at the Jackson's Park, Baba, all these players, they were all waiting for me. I was so happy that I am within the good players of Asante Kotoko. That's how my life
at Kotoko began.
So, yeah,
were you part of that Kotoko team that played against Hasselhoff in 1958? And the game did not end well because Kotoko were losing and a fight broke out and the game did not end well. I don't know, 5-3 or something.
I was never...
In 1958.
I was never dropped.
So you played that game?
Yes.
What happened?
It's been a long time.
Yes.
I can't even remember what happened. But I was never dropped. Just like Brass Star. The Brass Star, we have myself, CK Jemfi, Baba Yala, Eduadakwa, and Agrifen. These 5, we were the cabinet members of the Brass Star. We decide what we want from Osagifo or Ohinijan. Before any match, we crammed and walked. You see, when you see the stadium, the top, we go and sit there and plan what we have to do, what we need, whatever matches we are going to play. We decide what we want. So we, the 5 players, none of us were dropped in a match. The only time you see me, I wasn't able to play Brass Star is when I had a knee surgery. Yeah. That was the time they were going to play 1965 AFCON. I was operated at 37 General Hospital. And all the team came to hospital to say farewell when they were going to Libya. I was never dropped. I'm always in the team.
So how would you describe your days at Kotoko? And how many years did you play for Kotoko?
Kotoko, from 1956, 57 to 1968, I left for US.
What were those days like at Kotoko?
Pardon?
What were those days like?
I was a hero. And after tearing the net, my name was changed. They don't call me Infum anymore. They call me Bulldozer and Net Breaker.
Which game did you tear the net?
Ghana versus Tunisia. The final match to lift the cup. It took the referee about 3 and then the 2 linesmen to decide
whether it was a goal or not.
Yeah.
how did he hit the ball? Because I'm wondering, the way the net is, you hit the ball, you go and tear the net. Was that the net was not properly tied or what?
No, you see, that time, the way they fixed the net from the goalpost to down, tight from top to down. But now, they throw the net.
Yeah.
So when the ball hit the net, you see the net dancing.
Yeah.
But our time, it's stiff from top to the ground. So it's very strong. But our time, myself and Eduardo was size 12. I'm 10 and a half. We have European coaches and Ghana coaches. At that time, CKJF was our coach.
Yeah.
Eduardo and myself, I can stand about 18 yards, shoot, and the ball will go into the net. We don't dribble like some others, like Ose Kofi, Baba Yala. You know, Baba will get the ball, will play the totals. 100, the ball will never go away from it. He used to, But myself and Eduardo Emba, we used to have a coach, Hungry.
Yeah.
He said, when you get to 18, shoot. When a ball is going to the net, he doesn't say, hey, I'm going to the net to go. By the time goalkeeper gets ready to catch the ball is somewhere the corner of the net.
And so you work with the likes of Carlos Pereira, the former Brazilian coach, and
Yes. Oh, you used to have a lot of foreign coaches our time. But later, Osagyefo decided that, no, get rid of all European. Whatever a white man can do, we can do better than the white man. So he started sending all our footballers to coaching courses. Sabi Boakye, Ben Susu used to play for Olympics.
And there was one Bryant.
EC Bryant.
Yeah, EC Bryant.
Yeah.
Who also went for the coaching
course. Yeah, also he started sending all these Ghanaians to Germany. They were going, always.
Talk to me about you moving from Kotoko to the Great Republicans. What happened? I understand there were some lots of issues about Kwame Nkrumah trying to set up a rivalry club and all that.
You see, the reason why they formed the Republicans is to get a strong team that can always beat Kotoko. And by that time, they used to have NLM, which is and CPP and NLM.
Okay.
So we from Ashantis, they consider us that we are NLM people.
Okay.
So Ohinijai and Osagyefo were trying to get a strong team that will always beat Kotoko.
Kotoko was the strongest team there.
Yes, Kotoko. We have good footballers, and when they used to have Deuro, when we are playing football, and we hear this sound on the side of the stadium, my brother, it keeps us that we have to die for Ashanti. The Republicans, they set this team, Republicans, they took 2 players from each club, 2 of the best players in Ghana to form the Republicans. Baba Yala was named and I was named. Otumfo said, Otumfo Kwamtitwe, he called me and Baba Yala, said, they don't want us to go. Because when we leave Kotoko, the Republicans will get us and beat us in every game that we play. So Otumfo said we should stay for Ashantis. I say, okay, for me, I'm not going. I promised Otumfo at Menchia. And Babayala also said the same thing. So for me refusing to go to Republicans, they replaced Dogomoro to take my place. So Baba went, Dogo went, Dogo also left. Within less than a year, that's where Baba got an accident. When they went to Ho,
yes,
Republicans went to Ho and played a match. On their way coming, see, if you have noticed, Mercedes-Benz was the car that every club was traveling to play their games. And when you sit behind the driver, the driver is on the
we're done from right.
Right.
Yes.
And before you go through the entrance of the driver, there's a seat there like this. And Baba always sit there and sleep. So he lay his legs like that, this side, and the driver would be there. So when they were coming from home after the match, he was sleeping like that. And all of a sudden, an accident happened. The car went off the road, and Baba got into the hole. There's a small hole
inside the ditch.
Inside, so people were jumping to run away. They were stepping on him, and he got spinal cord broken. The government did the best they can. They sent him to Germany. So everybody was saying, "You are lucky, oh, you are lucky, oh, you are lucky." And I say, "I'm not lucky, but I had my feelings that I would stay at Kotoko, I would die with Kotoko."
And you stayed with Kotoko and you died with Kotoko. But talk to me about, because I recall reading about the history of Ghana football from the days of Richard Akwe, where the Lion had, where there were many issues. Anytime the Black Stars were going to play friendly matches, there were lots of political issues. And in fact, there were times they said the Ghana football front was divided. There was Ashanti Regional Football Association, which wanted to be in charge of football in the Ashanti region, one to in Greater Accra. But how come you were able to come together? You played friendly matches against the likes of Blackpool, the likes of Real Madrid, and all that. How did this happen?
You see, during Richard Akwe, you were then very young.
Yeah.
It was then the Gold Coast team.
Yes.
Who the Gold Coast team toured UK.
UK to play the likes of Stoke City and
Right. By that time, we were very young. Okay. I wasn't part of that, but
you played a game against Real Madrid.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. But at the time I entered the Black Star in 1957, I was never taken away or dropped from any match that Black Star played. So those years, I was in the Black Star.
So talk to us about playing Blackpool and then playing Real Madrid.
When we were first going to play Real Madrid, that was the first match. We drew 3-3 with them because we scored 3 goals. And it took them half an hour to equalize. But that time, when they say Black Star, my brother, we had the love for the game, not money. But this time, money rules everything. They don't have the love that we had. But I don't blame them. Nowadays, you can spend 2 shillings, 1 shilling, 6 pesos to buy everything. Even this plot here, I bought this plot, 2 plots here, 1976, at 1 CD a plot. So that time, everything was cheap in Ghana. though things are hard these days. But that time, it wasn't that hard. So the little that they will give you, you appreciate it.
I get it. So how was a friendly match against Real Madrid and Blackpool like?
Oh, we took it. O'Higgins advisors and and Mr. Hagen was his deputy. They said, just go and play your normal game. The normal game you used to play against every or African clubs that comes to Ghana. They are just, every player is just the same as you. They have selected their best team, but Ghana, you represent Ghana. So you are the best representing Ghana to play against Real Madrid. So go and do the best you can. So we went to Osagifo on Saturday evening. He also advises that just the name. If you think about the name, you people will be standing there and look at the ball, and the ball will be. So just go and play your normal game. Take them as you are playing Swedro Blacks or Vipers or Hazakers
or
Cornerstones, and that's what we did. But we were able to score 3 quick goals. And by that time, Puskas was part of the Real Madrid team. So by the end of the match, it was 3-3 draw. And O'Higgins said, you people, our next match is going to be Blackpool. I said, if we are able to draw with Real Madrid, come on, whatever team that's come from Europe or everywhere, we are ready to play them. So we took them as a normal clubs in Ghana.
And you played, and you did very well.
Very, very well.
You scored the goal in the final in 1963 when Ghana won the African Cup of Nations.
That's correct.
How proud were you that the first ever AFCON title Ghana won, you were on the score sheet?
My brother, anytime I'm going to play a match for Ghana or for Kotoko, Saturday night I go to sleep and pray to God that help me to wake up the next morning and let me feel that I'm fit to represent my country. I'm so proud to be part of the 11 players representing Ghana. So when I stepped on the field, all I know is I have to score or tackle or handle the ball and let the whole crowd say, bulldozer, 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 bulldozer. Bulldozer was my title, that strong guy. When I'm going with the ball, just like an army person who is going to shoot to kill.
So you were always there to kill?
Oh, no. I'm just
no, I mean, not literally killing, but you're on the field to destroy.
Yeah, not to take the ball away from me. I was young and very strong. So that also helped me, that we don't say they didn't give us money. No. All I pray to God, let me be free and fit to be on the field and look at the crowd. By that time, whenever Blassa or Kotoko is playing against us, by 9 o'clock, Kumasi Sports Stadium will be full. You know something? The people in Kumasi will say, oh, they are waiting. By 3 o'clock, they will come to the field. By that time, people from the villages will keep the stadium filled and they lock it. You see the light at the stadium, you see people sitting. They don't care about electrifying them. They will cramp and you see them sitting on the pole. But when you get to the stadium and you see people, you are so happy that You have to die for your country.
Then you might have been so disappointed that the 1965 AFCON you were injured.
Yeah, but I was the captain. I was a captain for Black Stars from 1965. Before that match, but I was injured, so they sent a doctor from Hungary to come and operate, because that time the coach was from Hungary, Emba.
Yes.
He said they have a sports doctor in Hungary, so he came and operated me at 37 General Hospital. I was there for about 2 months. After discharging me from the hospital, Kotoko sent me to Hungary for 2 months to do therapy at a specified hospital by our coach Emba. So I was in Hungary, Budapest, for 2 months.
What kind of a coach was CK Jenfi?
He was fantastic, because CK wanted to prove to Ghanaians that the black man is capable of doing a good job like a white man. So we had respect for CK, because CK went to Germany to pursue the coaching course for, I think, a year or 2 years. Or he just sent him to Germany to do a course in coaching.
Did you do some of the coaching courses?
I didn't want to be a coach.
Why?
My profession, the one I thought should be my profession, was banking.
You wanted to be a banker?
Yeah.
But did you do it? Did you do some of the bank?
Oh yes, I worked for the bank for 32 years at New York, Bank of New York.
Oh wow!
I was able to become a manager, and I was so lucky that President Kufuor came to Stock Exchange. Stock Exchange and Bank of New York, just like this house and that. And when I was leaving Ghana, President Kufuor was my friend.
Oh, okay.
So he came and visited me at Bank of New York. I spent 32 years at Bank of New York. After spending 25 years at Jacob, Energy Minister.
Yes, former Energy Minister.
Yeah, he also came to the Bank of New York. But because he has gone to university,
yes,
he came within 6 months, he became Assistant Vice President. So I said, oh, I should have gone to secondary school for me to enter. Oh, but anyway.
But even for you to have worked in the bank for such a long time,
Yeah.
Your educational level.
But you know something? How I get to the bank? When I first arrived in the U.S., I was playing for Baltimore Bees for 6 months. Baltimore Bees, the president in our club was working at Bank of New York.
Oh, okay.
And he saw me on the field at Baltimore. So we became friends, and I said, after completing my first 6 months in Baltimore, I had wanted to come back to Ghana, but that white man told me he would get me a job at the bank.
Oh, okay.
And I left Baltimore and go to New York.
Oh, okay. Was that where you met Pele?
Yeah. No, New York. I met Pele. Pele. When I left Baltimore, I was going to play for Cosmos.
Okay.
That's where I met Pele and Bakemba. Because most of the players were coming from, you see, that time, people who are playing football, they are all from other countries. Because US, they weren't interested in football. Their football is They used their hand.
The basketball. And even their most interesting thing was about the movies, the films, and all that.
Yeah. So, and oh wow, that was fantastic.
Wow. So and playing with Pelé, because arguably the best player in the world.
He was the best, but I was also the best in Ghana. No. He was the best in Brazil, but I'm from Ghana. By that time, Will Evans, did you hear about Will Evans?
Yeah.
He used to play for House of Oak.
Yeah.
He went to Atlanta. By that time, they were employing footballers from all over the world to start football, because Americans, they don't like football. They like rather football that they use their hand.
Basketball.
And basketball and ice hockey and all that. So you were the people who started playing football itself in United States. So Will Evans was in Atlanta. Ajimanjau from Brohafo. He was in Washington, D.C. You know Frank Odoy, VC10. VC10 was in Rochester, New York.
I see.
And I was in New York. By that time, the players were about 6 or 7 from Ghana, from different states.
I see.
That's how the football started in the U.S. We were the people who started playing football.
Would you say moving to the U.S. changed your life?
Definitely. I would have been dead by now. You know how many people left out of 28 players? Myself, Kofi Pare, John Nau, Dodo Ankara.
Yes.
These 4. We are the only 4 left.
Welcome to Friday again, and you know, I'll be firing on a day like this when it comes to my blunt thoughts. Today I've titled it, Politics Without Empathy and Big Talk Without Action, a snapshot of Ghana's misleadership. Politics without empathy and big talk without action, a snapshot of Ghana's misleadership. And I'm going to be talking about cocoa and how far we've come and how far we have to go. I'll talk about leadership and how we are unresponsive to the masses, whether demonstrating or not. And I'll touch on the Bank of Ghana. But let me start from here. In recent times, in reaction to protests, we have had the Occupy Julobi House protest arrest. And the protesters, some of them got arrested. We all saw the scenes. Our own camera was attacked, if you like, at the Greater Accra Police Command. Before I even get here, I want you to pay attention to this. But there was another, the UK version of that demonstration. Papa Usu Ankoma is the High Commissioner there, and I was aghast, I was in disbelief at his reaction. Because even if here, the National Youth Organizer of the MPP had said that, look, if they had made it to the Jubilee House, you know the police officers were not allowing the protesters to do that. Someone could have actually shown goodwill by coming from the presidency to meet the crowd and collect the petition. That would have been fabulous. But not our leadership, not our misleadership, and not in Ghana. So that wasn't received. But then for the UK High Commissioner to snap protesters, Ghanaians like you and me, who were also bringing to bear the UK version, that I felt was simply out of place. I heard someone was, you can hear someone saying, oh, just share a word with us, speak to us, say something. And he ignored them. This fabric runs through everything we're doing as far as our misleadership is concerned. And I think it's a ticking time bomb that we're sitting on. This way we're treating the ordinary citizenry. But let me come back to this slide now. Interestingly, before I even get to the Bank of Ghana and everything happening there, you see Joe Biden. In recent times, surprisingly, he joined auto workers. They were on a demonstration. He flew all the way to Michigan to partake in a demonstration. Can we see our leaders do the same? Or are they going to remain misleaders throughout? Can we ever see this here in Ghana? But fast forward. Then you come to the Occupy Bank of Ghana demonstration, another demonstration that has taken place in recent times. And the governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, was absent. Of course, some would say, look, if you're seeking my head, why will I even entertain you? But could he have got someone else, a deputy or something, to receive their petition. Because now, guess what? The demonstrators from the NDC, and there are ordinary Ghanaians in there as well, are saying they are going to continue with their demonstrations. What does that mean for all of us? Is this what we want as a country? I don't know. But maybe the powers that be want it. But I just wanted to situate the conversation when it comes to the Bank of Ghana on some of what has been said, because there were claims about 2017 and 2018 and profits that were made and all of that. This is the tale of the tape, okay? In 2017 and 2018, the central bank incurred these losses, right? Over 2 billion Ghana cedis in losses. In 2019 and 2020, as well as 2021, it turned a profit. But come 2022, we saw that gargantuan loss of 60.8 billion Ghana cedis. Now let's look at the tale of the tape, the summary of it. The net profit then is 4.5 billion profit, summed up. The net loss, 63.2 billion. If you do the deduction, you get 58.7 billion. Did we go or did we come? That is the question we ought to be asking ourselves. Then again, you look at the Bank of Ghana and its 0% financing policy. 2017, 2018, 2019, stuck to it. 2020, 2021, 2022. In fact, in these years, you would see that as far as the IMF program is concerned, no. But as far as zero financing, it's only in 2021 that we stuck to it. And here we are in 2023, of course, with the IMF on our backs. We're finally doing the right thing. But then we get into more when it comes to the Bank of Ghana. Now, according to the BOG, it is not true that the Bank of Ghana has been providing financing for the government every year. There has been zero financing in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2021. You just saw right here. Let me go to the next slide. So you would see, again, that in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2021 fiscal years, was there really 0% financing? Let's find out. Bank of Ghana securities, bonds, and others with government, 66.7 billion in 2020. 2021, 70 billion. The amount added 3.3 billion. Fact. You go to the Bank of Ghana loans and advancements to governments, including overdrafts, 12.3 billion in 2020, 17 billion in 2021. The amount added 4.7 billion. So you do the sum total, 79 billion. As far as this description is concerned, in 2020, 2021, 87 billion. The amount added in 2021, 8 billion Ghana cedis. And that is a fact we cannot run away from. Now, having spoken about demonstrations, mass actions, and how our leaders have reacted or misreacted vis-a-vis what other democracies are doing, let's look at the cocoa sector. There's a picture I want to paint for you this morning. Now, in terms of recent activities, we've been told that the prices have shot up. The Cocoa Board boss has told us that the price of cocoa is $211 higher than what we would see prevailing in Côte d'Ivoire. But what are the realities? If you look at this latest study by Reuters, farmers plant more cocoa outside Africa as prices rally. You would find out that there are a lot of emerging production that we're seeing in South America. In fact, there was a disease that shot up in South America decades ago, which wiped out in Brazil and other places a lot of their cocoa. And for that reason, they stopped literally producing them. We took over, and for some of you who are not aware, Ghana was not always the second largest producer. Brazil, at a point, was the largest producer. But here's what's interesting. Brazil's government projects output could grow to 300,000 metric tons by 2025 and to 400,000 by 2030, from around 200,000 tons currently, which would turn the country from a net importer to a regular exporter of the commodity. Ecuador has been doing same. It's the third largest global grower behind Ghana and now produces around 750,000 tons. Ecuador's annual production has risen to between 400,000 and 430,000 just between 2022 and 2023, from 287,000 tons just 5 years ago. Look at what they are doing and look at what we are doing. Our place is not secure. Then you look at the cocoa politics, like I mentioned. NPP, NDC trying to score points and everything they've been saying. New cocoa price, stop comparing Ghana to Côte d'Ivoire, cost of living different. Now, this is from Edward Karewe, who is actually the General Secretary of the Agricultural Workers Union, the General Agricultural Workers Union. This indeed is a fact, because if you're going to be talking about that $211 window or difference, you might as well also take into consideration inflation, the cost of items, food, fuel, the cost of the logistics that the farmers use, the cost of diesel, and all of that. So these are the juxtapositions that we ought to be making as a country. When it comes to leadership, I wonder why it is that we will not be more reasonable, if you like, more approachable with the people, like the demonstrations. From where I sit, if I were advising government, I would tell them, let these people reach out, let them vent, receive their opinion, because Charlie, wahala day. And as the wahala day, people are dissatisfied. And as people are dissatisfied, they will continue to vent. If you don't give them avenues to vent, we have trouble. The final bit, cocoa. If we lose our grasp, we'll slip off and we'll never be able to come back, because other countries, the South Americans, are coming for us. My name is Benjamin Akakwa. I share these reflections with you because I love Ghana and I want us to be number one in everything we do. These are my blunt thoughts shared with you, raw, hot, unedited, undiluted. God bless Ghana and make her great and strong.
Hello there. Thank you so much for staying on the AM show. I'm Bernice Abubedulanse, and like my colleague Brace told you earlier, we'll be having a conversation today on cerebral palsy. And we will be talking to health experts about this, because 17 million people have been impacted by this disorder worldwide. It's one of the most common physical disabilities affecting the most vulnerable of us, children. So later I will be joined by the experts to tell us more on how to help persons with cerebral palsy and the other matters related to that. But before then, let me bring you a story that my colleague, Albert Sori, in the Upper East region has done, and it's about an organization, AfriKids, working to alleviate the plight of persons with cerebral palsy.
Mba Ayamga here worked as a soothsayer. Part of his job was to use divinations to tell whether a child born with deformities was a spirit or not. If such a child was found to be a spirit child, Ayamga would tell the parents what to do with him or her. He had several other colleagues who did a similar job in many different parts of the Upper East region. It is known that such children were often administered concoctions that would kill them if they were spirits. And if they were not, they survived after being force-fed with the concoction. But a lot of times, the infants died because studies later showed that the concoctions were poisonous and could kill even adults. Ayamga says his own divinations never involved killing the children or administering any potions to them. Rather, a ritual was performed at his shrine in the hope that these infants would be exorcised of the spirits and their deformities reversed.
I never give them anything to drink. The requirement here in my shrine was for sacrifices to be made. So, some chickens, a goat, food, and drinks will be provided for the rituals. We all eat the food and peace returns to the home.
The truth is, these children are never spirits to begin with. They are just children born with cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy encompasses a number of disorders that affect a person's ability to move and maintain balance or posture. This has to do with the brain, and it is common in children. No spiritual ritual can reverse the condition. There is no cure for it, but treatment can help improve the lives of affected persons, especially if the treatment starts early. For this reason, AfriKids Ghana, a child rights and community development NGO working in northern Ghana, began some interventions about 21 years ago in the Kassena Nankana Municipal, Kassena Nankana West, and Bongo districts where cerebral palsy was common and the spirit child phenomenon was also widely practiced. David Pualua is the country director of AfriKids Ghana.
Somewhere in 2012, that was when we jointly marked the end of the spirit child phenomena with the local communities in the Kassena Nankana area. After that event, community members started bringing out children willingly and seeking for support to help rehabilitating these children. Over 80% of the children that were brought to our attention were children who were living with cerebral palsy. And this situation necessitated our launching of a cerebral palsy intervention. We have over the years reached out to over 500 children who are living with the condition.
AfriKids Ghana's interventions included community mobilization and advocacy programs, which eventually got the soothsayers or concoction men to abandon their practices of the spirit child phenomenon. These concoction men were provided alternative livelihood support to help them earn a regular income rather than depending on the income they got as practitioners of what could only be described as infanticide. Mba Ayamga joined the group of reformed concoction men called the Right to Life Promoters and became an advocate for the rights of children with disabilities. He no longer gives spiritual consultations to parents of supposed spirit children. Rather, he fights for their right to life and to be treated with dignity.
They gave me ghost rare, money for farming, and a bicycle to help me move around, so I'm able to comfortably fend for myself because the ghosts have reproduced. We also have an association of former concoction men. We meet regularly to discuss how we can help Africans in their projects. We are enlightened now, so we know they are here to help us.
4 cerebral palsy centers have also been established at Seregu in the Kassena Nankana West district, as well as Dua, Via, and Few, all in the Bongo district, to give physiotherapy, massages, and paper-based assistive devices to help children with cerebral palsy.
We start our interventions by looking at the preventive side of things, where we engage families, we engage mothers, we engage the gatekeepers on how to ensure safe delivery for our mothers. We believe that if the women go through the routine as is being prescribed by the health authorities diligently, the number of children with disability or cerebral palsy or even mortality issues in general would decline. Then beyond that, we organize training sessions for mothers, we organize training sessions for health workers to help them identify signs that usually will show that a child is likely to have cerebral palsy.
William Ayambire is a physio trainer giving physiotherapy to children at the AfriKids Ghana Cerebral Palsy Centers. His work has helped improve the mobility of many children who were at the early stages of their lives unable to walk or even sit up.
I always do the training, the massaging training, while make devices for the children. And that one enables the children to walk, to sit and crawl. If you don't have any device which will help the children, the getting up will be very hard. That's why I learned how to make devices.
For the parents of these children, the cerebral palsy centers have saved them from what used to be enormous burdens, carrying these children from place to place and over long distances in search of non-existent help.
This child I am holding was 1.5 years old when I first came to this center. At the time, he could not even sit up, but after going through the treatments, he is now able to walk and eat on his own. He is 5 years old now, so I am hoping to put him in school soon.
When I first had this baby, his neck was weak. He could not move or do anything. But since I started coming to this African center, his condition has improved. He is able to sit up and get into a crawling position. He is 1 year and 10 months old now, so I know gradually he will start crawling.
As the world marks Cerebral Palsy Day on October 6, Afrikids Ghana is calling for an inclusive education policy to help children with the condition in Ghana to have equal opportunity for education just like every other child.
The instances where children are turned away because of the conclusion that they have a form of disability, it's unfortunate. And we will want to appeal to each and every one of us who participate in one way or the other towards ensuring that education happens for our children, to look at this in a much more inclusive manner.
This year's theme for World Cerebral Palsy Day, a world that's made for everyone, underscores the critical importance of accessibility and inclusion for individuals with cerebral palsy. The focus extends beyond a mere acknowledgement to a commitment to creating a world where everyone, regardless of ability, can actively engage in all facets of society. For Joy News, Albert Sorry, Sirigu, Kasna Nankana West District.
Thank you so much for staying on the AM show. And earlier you saw that story put together by our correspondent in the Upper East region. And Albert Sorry has been bringing us that fantastic story. And we want to continue our conversation. I've been joined by David Pualua, he's Country Director, AfriKids, and Dr. Adam Saba, pediatrician at the Volta Regional Hospital. Let me start with you, Dr. Saba, because this is a condition that for many children can be avoided, right?
Very much so. Thank you very much. Greetings to your viewers. Yes, cerebral palsy can be prevented, although in some cases, in some situations, what is the cause? For instance, the cause was due to beta asphyxia, or the cause is due to neonatal jaundice. It could be prevented if this are picked up early and managed appropriately. Sometimes it could be due to an injury that occurred in the womb before the child is even born. For those, there are limitations to how we can prevent that. But main causes, but there are some preventable causes like I said, beta asphyxia and then neonatal jaundice. Those can be prevented, and if you pick them up early and manage them appropriately.
Right, and do we know? I'm told that there are about 22,000 children believed to be living in Ghana with cerebral palsy. But do we know what the largest factor is in Ghana? You've just given us many causes of cerebral palsy. Do we know what is really causing it in Ghana?
Okay, so for Ghana, I think the two main causes are beta asphyxia. That's when a newborn is deprived of oxygen at birth, or either at birth or during circumstances surrounding birth, or even in the womb where the brain is deprived of oxygen. And then the other one is neonatal jaundice, when the newborn's eyes become yellow during the newborn period, and this yellow discoloration of the eye goes on to affect the brain, and therefore cerebral palsy is developed. So those are the two main causes here.
And so, Doc, these are preventable, right? And so then it means that we can work harder at preventing children from developing the condition here in Ghana, right?
Yes. So, like every May, for instance, the Pediatric Society of Ghana tries to raise awareness about newborn jaundice. Every September is Breast Asphyxia Awareness Month for the Pediatric Society of Ghana. So I said, Society of Pediatricians, just to raise awareness of health workers, parents, will-be parents, everyone is aware about this, the dangers of this condition, so that we can prevent it, putting measures to prevent them. And if, like for newborn jaundice, for instance, everyone should be able to pick it up quickly, so that treatment can be initiated immediately, so that the outcome of cerebral palsy is avoided.
Right. Doc, I'll come back to you on the tips for picking up jaundice, for example, early, and the other interventions we can put in place to deal with the issue of asphyxia. But let me come to David Poilua. David, you are with AfriKids. We have established the numbers, the statistics are glaring. We seem to have a challenge in this country with even support services for persons living with cerebral palsy. I know that, you know, individuals who have sailed through, have gone through education, and are very prominent people in the country, even living with cerebral palsy, have tried to encourage parents of children with cerebral palsy not to give up on them, to take them through school. But there's the challenge of the support services. You have been working in this sector forever. Do you see us making any headway in that regard?
Thank you very much. I will want to commence my response to your question by using your medium to commend all the service providers, especially the healthcare providers, our educational authorities, parents of children with cerebral palsy and their families for the yeoman's job they have been doing by way of supporting these children. Today is their day, and I wouldn't want to miss the opportunity of commending them for the support they've provided to the children all this while. I hope and pray that many more of us support these families to take care of these children who, for no fault of theirs, find themselves in this situation. With regards to the support systems and whether we are making progress as a country, I will say sadly no. We don't seem to be there, and from where I sit, I do not see any clear plan to get us improve upon the quality of support we give to children or persons with disability in general. Specifically with children with cerebral palsy, we in this country have a challenge with facilities for supporting their care. And these are the reasons, or is the main reason why we wished AfriKids to go into providing community-based support and into the construction of clinics where these children could come in twice a week for rehabilitation services. Again, in terms of the personnel, it's strange that even most of our healthcare workers, especially the public health workers at the community level, at the CHIP center level, midwives, are not educated. And it doesn't seem it's part of their training for them to be able to identify signs of cerebral palsy, as Doc mentioned, at the initial level, and to be able to provide the necessary intervention for such category of children. Again, if you look at the geography where we are located in northern Ghana, wondering if at this level we still have even more than 2 pediatric physiotherapists. You know, so we have a few physiotherapists across the country, but to find physiotherapists with the skills of handling children, it's very rare to find in this country. And so I do not think that as a country we are putting in place the right structures to be able to support especially children with cerebral palsy.
But thankfully, organizations like yours, AfriKids, have stepped in, and I think that it's also a good opportunity to commend you for what you've been doing for children living with cerebral palsy. But tell us what inspired this initiative by AfriKids.
Great. We started this whole journey into cerebral palsy from our quest to give children their right to live. Back in the early 90s, we got a hint of the fact that in most parts of northern Ghana, children who were born with disabilities were killed because of their situation. They were treated as spirits, and that they were being possessed by evil spirits. And if they were allowed to live, a calamity in one way or the other would befall their clans, or for that matter, the families. And as a result of that, most children who were born and had a delay in beating or achieving their growth milestones were killed using herbal concoctions. And so we started our intervention by trying to rescue these children from being killed. Those days, in a very crude way, you see the Rambo-style approach. When we got wind of the information that a child's life was threatened, we went into the family, picked the child, and took them to safe locations and provided them care to ensure that they survived. However, after years of doing that, we realized it wasn't sustainable, and so we launched an intervention to educate people on the causes of disability or even maternal mortality. Because even if your mother died during the process of giving birth to you, you were accused as the cause of killing your mom, and so the likelihood that you survive was so low. And so we went through with the communities, and after years of engagement and education, communities themselves came up in 2012 to declare an end to the practice of killing children through infanticide and accusing them wrongly. Post that achievement, we started getting closer to the local communities. They came to us, and we discovered that, in fact, there were many more children who were not killed, but these children were kept in rooms, in dark rooms, and were allowed to perish. And so post that event, people started bringing their children to us, and we discovered that most of these children that were locked in dark rooms were suffering from cerebral palsy. And so these were the basis upon which we initiated the intervention to create access for these children and to ensure that they were also included within the provision of social services, especially healthcare and education.
Wow. So how long have you been doing this? And are you able to share some inspirational stories of any of the children who have gone on to do great things?
Yeah, we've been, since the declaration, we declared in 2012, and then by 2014, we have started our cerebral palsy clinics. And over the period, we've been able to reach out to over 511 children. And of course, we encountered some casualties. There were some of the children that came to the center very late. Some of them were at the age of 12. They've been bedridden for all these 12 years. And so it was difficult to even take them through the massage process because their limbs had become so stiff. And so, unfortunately, we had lost quite a few. But over 50% of the kids that came to the center today are moving about. They've gone back to school. A good number of them are in school. A child, there's this boy called Gideon. Gideon, a very lovely boy who, if not for our intervention, maybe wouldn't have been alive today. I see Gideon in his school uniform, and I get so excited that from the little contribution that we are making, we have been able to rehabilitate this child, and the child is in school and he's so brilliant. You know, we have Richmond. Richmond currently, in fact, is in school, but writes with his feet. So he puts the pen in between his toes and he's able to write. He's currently in class 3. He started from kindergarten and progressed to class 3, and I can't stop thanking his parents. The mother still backs him sometimes to school, and now he goes on a wheelchair, and it's exciting to see how his classmates jointly will push his wheelchair from home all the way to school, and we bring him back home. These are the things, the contributions that we are seeing from families and communities that are actually keeping us on this journey. Of course, it's not an easy one, but the fact that we are able to rehabilitate these children, the fact that we are seeing progress of a child who arrived at the center bedridden, now being able to walk, stand, and even go to school, are the bits that inspires us and keep us on.
Now, while we appreciate AfriKids for what they're doing for Ghanaian children already living with cerebral palsy, let me come to you, Dr. Edem Saba, because we have already established that some of the causes of cerebral palsy in children are avoidable. So let's just use the opportunity, right, to try and reduce the numbers that we record of children with cerebral palsy. What should parents and caregivers, midwives, everybody within the system when it comes to having babies, taking care of them, both ante and postnatal, what should we be looking out for?
Okay, thank you for the question. For you to have a baby or prevent your child from getting cerebral palsy, starts right before birth. So right before you even get pregnant, you need to start seeing your doctor and making plans that you want to have children. Next thing is as soon as you are pregnant, you start antenatal, but you need to report. So at any point in time, if there's anything noticed about your growing baby in your womb, it can be picked up and quickly acted upon, or interventions can be put in place. Now, the other thing is that to prevent this complication that I keep saying, birth at 6 years, that's for the baby not to have air or start breathing as soon as they are born. The best thing is to deliver in the hospital. As soon as labor sets, you don't first labor sets in, report to the hospital. What I usually see as a pediatrician when is that some cases tend to show up quite late, and by that time the child's brain has already been deprived of oxygen. Now, that's for parents. Now, as health workers, we need to be able to intervene as soon as we see that there's a problem during the delivery process. So if at any point in time there's a problem during the delivery process, interventions have to be made. If it includes doing a cesarean section, it includes doing an assisted form of delivery, other form of delivery, or even if it includes referring the mother to the nearest big hospital for delivery to occur, then it's best to have that done. Then after birth, every newborn deserves to be assessed by a health worker. Every newborn needs to be examined by a health worker. If you pick up a child that has any sign that suggests that this child did not take in their first breath and did not breathe, has not sustained breathing and is not getting oxygen to the brain, this child has to be sent immediately to see a doctor, to be admitted, to be managed. Now that's for our 6 years. The other, this thing is, like I said, neonatal jaundice. Now,
Doc, please go ahead.
If you look at the percentages, about 80% of those who are born preterm will become jaundice. About 60% of term babies will become jaundice. Our issue is that we need to pick it up early. So in our core child settings, usually when newborns are delivered, they are kept in a room, in a dark room, that evil eyes do not see the child. And by the time the child is brought up on day 7, this child is so yellow that the damage has already been caused. So at least every newborn child should be examined at least twice in a day. Bring the child out, see the child, and pick up the jaundice. Now, the unfortunate thing is that for some health workers, as my co-panelist said, some healthcare workers don't have the experience when it comes to this type of thing. So when a mother reports to them in the hospital or the health center or report to them even at home that the child is jaundice, what they usually say is, oh, just expose the child to the sun or you continue breastfeeding. Please, as soon as you see that a child is jaundice, the child should be immediately referred to a facility that can manage the jaundice. As soon as the child, as soon as you see it, at any point in time that you see, even if you saw it on the 7th day of life, if you saw it on the 1st day of life, at any point in time that you see, immediately report to the hospital and let's manage the jaundice so it doesn't go on to affect the brain.
Yes, and so, Doc, even though cerebral palsy largely presents with mobility issues, it is because the integrity of the brain has been affected. So either through asphyxia or jaundice, the main target is the brain, right?
Yes. So in asphyxia, oxygen didn't get to the brain. And in jaundice, the yellow pigment that causes the eyes to become yellow, the skin to be yellow, goes to affect a part of the brain that affects movement. So it goes to paint that part of the brain also yellow, and then that affects movement as well. It can affect other things apart from movement. It sometimes affects hearing, it can affect vision, it can affect intellectual ability, but in most cases they have the motor movement or the movement disorder first with the added on other developmental.
So, Doc, we've tackled one leg of the problem, that is helping parents and caregivers prevent more kids from having cerebral palsy. Now, what do we do for those who already have it? What are the timely interventions that we can put in place to ensure that the situation doesn't get worse or complicated?
Thank you. So I think, in fact, I wish after this program I could get in touch with him personally. You'll be of much help where I work. So managing a child with cerebral palsy is multidisciplinary. It involves a lot of people. You need occupational therapists, you need physiotherapists, you need psychologists, you need nutritionists, you need dietitians, you need speech and language therapists, all involved so that you can make the child have the best quality of life, even though they have cerebral palsy. The unfortunate thing for us is that we do not have enough of these specialists in our setting. Or if we do, they are concentrated in urban areas, and therefore, where I work, for instance, is a very peri-urban. It's quite far from the main urban area. So it's a lot of traveling time just to get them there. So to improve the quality of life, we need all these people to help us manage this child so they don't get malnourished. They achieve some bit of mobility. For those who have normal intellect, they should be able to go to school. For those who have some intellectual disability, they should be able to at least have a normal quality of life where they are not so fully dependent on the caregiver to carry them everywhere.
Right. Hello, Doc, are you there? Well, we seem to have a challenge with Doc's line. We'll try and establish a better connection with him. But Mr. Palua, you just heard Doc say that he would love to get in touch with you, obviously, because you're giving out some life-saving interventions in your centers. But help us know where these centers are and whether parents can just walk in, because, sometimes because of the stigma, ignorance, and basically the emotional trauma that parents also suffer when they have kids with cerebral palsy. Some of them hide the kids, they keep them away from the public's eye. If they want to visit your centers, where are they located? Do they need to come with any money? What exactly do they need?
Well, so to visit our centers, you really don't need any serious requirement. Our centers are attached to the various CHIP centers, the local community. So currently we have 3 of these centers located in Bongo, and these are all working closely with the CHIPS centers within those locations. You only need to work in with your child. The child will be assessed, and then there will be a plan, a treatment plan for your child. There will also be training. We also organize training, in fact, for parents in terms of how to support their kids with cerebral palsy at home. We provide them with the paper-based devices and the techniques of managing these children. And should the parent with the condition pay attention to the training and go ahead to implement what they learn from the sessions, their children will definitely get better and definitely will have a quality life. We are also in the process of scaling up our interventions, especially across the northern sector, because currently we have people traveling all the way from other regions in the north to the Upper East region, and sometimes it costs a lot of money for them to come this way, and they have to maybe find accommodation to stay because our facilities are non-residential. And so it comes with a huge cost. And we are looking for partnerships and opportunities to spread, replicate these services across other areas so that parents will not have to travel over long distances to come to the centers.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be my next question. Here at Joy News, we are all about making impact, and we do that together with our audience, our wonderful audience, some of whom are willing to support in whatever capacity they can. So just let us know how we can reach out to AfriKids. If somebody wants AfriKids to say help them set up a center like this in the South, maybe in Kumasi, in the Middle Belt, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, I'm available. I can share my details, my
Please
phone
go
details,
ahead.
my email.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, yes, information with you. So with my phone number, I can be reached on mobile 050 065 0784. And my email address is my name, David Palua in lowercase at afrikids.org. I prefer an email. If you email me, I will be back. I'll get back in touch, and then we can take things up from there. We are very excited over this opportunity. Our sole purpose is to ensure that children living everywhere in Ghana with cerebral palsy are getting access to services that, in fact, it is their right that they should. And it is the responsibility of all of us to ensure that these children are assessing their rights as they ought to be. And so we are here, we are very happy to lead the process of making cerebral palsy services accessible.
Right, so if you're watching us and you'd like to help in any way, you can reach David Palua, David, DAVID, PWALUA, lowercase, at afrikids.com. Is it at afrikids.org?
Sorry. Yes, please.
Right. Okay. So please, you can just reach out to him. They have the expertise. They've been doing this for a long time. They've been helping young children and kids in the northern part of the country. And the desire is to reach every child with cerebral palsy. Even as the world commemorates the day, we don't just want it to be another day that we celebrate, but it's one that leaves lasting impacts in the life of many, many of these children. And let no one kid you that they are, for lack of a better expression, useless. We've seen the likes of Farida Bedre, who's a software engineer, fantastic lady, who's been working so hard. She has a fintech company. She's doing great. So your child can have cerebral palsy, but that doesn't mean it's the end of their life. So just reach out to Mr. Palua and the team, and let's see how best we can help children living with cerebral palsy. Let me also say a very big thank you to Dr. Edem Saba, a pediatrician at the Volta Regional Hospital, who's been sharing some fantastic tips with us about avoiding, children getting cerebral palsy. It has to do with you being on the lookout as a parent and a caregiver for things like asphyxia, the lack of oxygen, when a child is born or in the birth process, and also looking out for neonatal jaundice, which is one of the major causes. Away from this conversation today, the preliminary stage of the NSMQ 2023 starts. Emmanuel Brad-Kweku is in Kumasi for us, where that is going to be happening. Hello, Emmanuel. I can imagine the excitement already. If you can hear me, just run us through the schools that will be participating in today's contests.
All right, sure. So, Ben, is definitely going to be an exciting batch of contests for today. Today we are starting with the prelims of the National Science and Math Quiz. As we already know, 117 schools are contesting at the preliminary stage, including Wesley Girls, St. Peter's, Holy Child School, St. Thomas Aquinas, and a few others. But I'm currently here at Kumaple Auditorium, which is just one of the 3 auditoriums where we'll be having the preliminary contest. We're having some at the KNUST SHS and also at the Sarah Mensah Auditorium right here on the KNUST campus. And I must say that the National Science and Math Quiz has been promising this year. It's been exciting, and the schools so far at the auditorium, that's the Kumaple Auditorium, we are going to have Holy Child School, Wesley Grammar Senior High School, and then St. Andrew's School. And just before I speak with any of the schools, I would quickly wrap up with the National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with GOL PLC and supported by AT, Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, Pepsodent, Better Malt, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University College, Coronation Insurance, Garnet Cowbell, Bell Aqua, Newmont, GTP, and YFM, and the broadcast of the National Science and Math Quiz on the Joy News and Joy Prime channels is supported by Vitamilk, NASCO, German Ozone Medical Center, Royal Foam, Jamal Soap, Heritage Christian College, Virtual Security Africa, Ace Medical Insurance, Chopboss Technologies, Synthes Tank, DBS, Invest Corp, Built Financial Technologies, Better Malt, and Bright SHS and Family Health University College. But just before I zoom into the conversations, I have my colleagues here with me to do the conversation. I have Jacqueline and Sumaya Boy and also Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom. I would quickly want to interact with Jacqueline. She will be at the Sarah Mensah Auditorium where we'll be having some contests. I think at the Sarah Mensah Auditorium, which schools are contesting over there?
All right, so we have Bomper Senior High School in Kranza SHS and Law SHS.
That's going to be quite an exciting contest.
Yeah, it is. So I've been speaking to Bomper Senior High School. I haven't had. You went to the regionals. How was it with Nkranza?
Okay, actually, Nkranza in 2021, they won the bonus zonal championship, but they were kicked out. And then this year too, they are qualifying because of being one of the top runners up during the qualifications. That's why they are here. But they met a Kofiame, they were kicked out. So you have also been interacting with Bompe. What they've been telling you?
That was yesterday, and they said that they are well poised for action, and they are going to do their best. They don't really see this contest as much of a big deal, but they know that they are going to definitely sail through. That's for Bompe Senior High School.
All right, so that's my colleague Jacqueline and Sumayeba bringing us some interactions she had earlier on with some students of Bompe Senior High School. I have Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom. He'll be monitoring the KNUST auditorium where we'll be having Kumasi Wesley Girls, Duman SHS, and then Northern School of Business. I know you schooled in Kumasi. How is the euphoria in Kumasi when it comes to some of these contests, especially when Kumasi schools are clashed? For a short interaction, let me start with you, Holy Child. Last year you came and then you were kicked out, and I think it was a tiebreaker between you and Kumasi Secondary KSTS. How did you feel at the moment?
At that moment, we were a bit disappointed because we thought we were going to make it far, but then we've realized our mistakes and we've learned on them. So this year we're coming bigger and better, and we hope to take the quiz this year by storm. So everybody should stay tuned.
How would you feel? I think from 2021 that you lost your seed, and then last year you lost your seat. How would you feel if you are kicked out again?
It's going to be a very disappointing moment for us because we've really worked hard, and we know that this year is not going to be another kicked out. We are going to make it to the next stage and probably to the semis.
Probably. Is it the final, or you don't want to win it at all?
Well, we are going to win it. This year, Holy Child is going to take the quiz by storm, and everybody should stay tuned because one thing about Holy Child is we don't talk much, we just show action.
Factor non-verbal. So definitely it says it's a factor non-verbal. Let me find out from you. You are coming from which school?
St. Andrews Senior High.
St. Andrews, I know you are coming in by virtue of being a private school and qualifying. How does it feel coming to the national stage?
Well, it's our first time. We've not been here before. It's mixed feelings, exciting. You know, we just hope for the best. We're doing our best.
Okay, so you are meeting a school like Holy Child. Holy Child has the experience when it comes to national science and maths. You are coming for the first time. Are you not in any way scared of them?
With God, all things are possible.
I think they are also having the same thing.
Yeah, and we also believe that it's possible.
Do you have any preparations? What have you done so far? Any tricks or strategies you are going to use in meeting them?
I think that's between us.
Okay, sure, definitely. So the tricks, I'm sure we see it on stage. You also, which school are you coming from?
Wesley Grammar School.
Wesley Grammar. Where is Wesley Grammar?
Greater Accra, Down.
Okay, so let me find out from you. I think you have been in the contest quite a few times. How has it been? Last year you were kicked out. How was the news coming at you?
Oh, last year when we got kicked out, we went home and trained ourselves. Actually, we were using our Form 2 guys during the last year. And now they are here to compete again. So expect nothing but the best from them now.
I think the best, they all say the same. Everyone is bringing their best. What is going to set you apart?
We show working on this stage.
You show working.
Yeah, talking.
She tells me they are bringing, Holy Child tells me it's factor non-verbal. Is it the same sentiments you are sharing?
No. Their own is factor non-verbal, but our own is different. We show them something else. They haven't seen it before.
Okay, then finally, let me find out from you. Is there any target you are having for this year's national? Is it that you are planning to see it or you are winning it actually?
Anything is possible. With the God on our side, we can win. So, yes, but we won't boast now because we start small, and we'll get there. Yes.
All right, sure. So that's a student from Wesley Grammar School. So as I earlier indicated, that the atmosphere is a bit calmer here. All the students are seated, hoping that the first contest at the Kuma Play Auditorium, that is Holy Child School, Wesley Grammar, and then St. Andrews SHS would kick off for everyone to have that exciting bit. Stay glued to the Joy News channel, Joy Prime, Joy FM social media for timely updates on the National Science and Math Quiz. My colleagues, Jacqueline and Sumayebwa and then Nana Boachi Dankwayadom will also be bringing you some updates from the various venues, Sarah Mensah and then the KNUST Auditorium. So, Bernice, this is what is actually happening on campus for this morning.
Remember, this is the 30th edition of the quiz, and let me just run you through the schools competing today, Friday, October 6th. Anlo SHS versus Nkranza SHTS versus Bompe SHTS. We have Holy Child School versus Wesley Grammar School versus St. Andrews SHS. And Kumasi Wesley Girls High School will face off with the Northern School of Business in Eduman SHS. We have Sugakopa SHS, Ameniampong SHS, and Krachi SHS. And then there's University Practice SHS, Ejusman SHS, and Comfort Anoche SHS. So do stay with us for all the updates. You can also follow us on social media, right? There are more schools competing. We have St. Mary's Seminary SHS, Miniba SHS, TIA Mas Ekumfi. We have Secondary College versus St. Catherine's SHS versus St. Sutaman Catholic SHS. Then there's Laboni Senior High School versus St. John's School and Sunyani SHS. And we have Nifa SHS, Armed Forces SHTS, and Oda SHS. On social media, we are Joy News on TV. You can follow us. We are partners with the broadcast aspect of the NSMQ. We're bringing you all the updates right here on your most favorite channel. Do stay with us. We've got a lot more after this.
Together, not only to honor the teachers who have devoted their lives to shaping the minds of past, present, and future generations, but also to recognize the paramount role education plays in the development of our nation. Teachers play crucial parts in preserving and transmitting this heritage to the next generation. They are the torchbearers of our values, our traditions, and our ideals that bind us together as Ghanaians. However, we cannot ignore the challenges that our teachers face in their noble profession. From inadequate resources to limited professional development opportunities, these hurdles can sometimes hinder their ability to provide the quality education our children deserve. It is our collective responsibility to address these issues and create an enabling environment where our teachers can thrive and continue to impact lives. I stand before you today committed to ensuring that our teachers receive the recognition, support, and resources they need. We will continue to work tirelessly to improve the conditions in which they teach and to provide continuous opportunities for their professional growth.
All right, so welcome back. Okay. Anyway, this is the AM show, and we're back again.
Hello, Samuel. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Bernice.
Yeah, so that's President Akufo-Addo speaking at the Ghana Teacher Prize, and we know that yesterday was World Teachers Day. I saw a post on social media, though, where someone was asking whether teachers don't deserve a holiday too.
Well, I even thought it was going to be, but I'm not sure it has ever been.
Never been.
So,
but that's a legitimate question.
Because we give farmers
Day.
So obviously we need to give them. Maybe the Education Ministry can think about it together with the relevant ministries and then see whether next year they can declare that as a holiday.
But I don't think schools are schools back in session. They are.
Yeah, schools are
back in session.
Yeah, they are. They were back on Tuesday.
All right, because it's different. Different schools are running different systems now, so it's quite difficult to keep up. Yeah. But it's interesting.
It's coming after, yesterday you played that interview I had with Herbert Achampon. At the end of his interview, I was asking him, how should we celebrate teachers on a day like that? He said, all teachers want is increment in salaries. That the monies we give them are just meager. And so what would really make them feel celebrated is that we increase their salaries.
And also give them better working conditions.
He even made reference to, accommodation in rural communities where he, for example, is paying 100 cedis a month. That translates into 1,200 a year, but they are looking for 2 years. And he said for us in Accra, we think that 100 cedis is always no money.
Yeah.
But you have to look at it in the context of they in the rural community. Yeah. So all of these are part of the conditions of service that teachers are looking at. Yeah.
Well, we have Dr. Peter Anti, Executive Director, Institute for Education Studies. Great to have you here. Now, I want to start off with you, sir, on a point that was raised by the Minister for Education, reacting to concerns about teacher shortage in Ghana. He says we don't have a shortage of teachers. What we have is a deployment issue. Your take, sir.
Thank you very much, and good morning to your listeners and viewers. Well, of course, if the Minister of Education says that we don't have a shortage of teachers in Ghana, I think that it is a little bit erroneous. You have to look at teacher supply in relation to the number of enrollments that you have in the country. So, in the standard by the Ghana Education Service and by saying the Ministry of Education is that a class is supposed to be handled by, there should be between 25 to 35 students in a class. That is supposed to be handled by one teacher, what we call the teacher-people ratio. And that is supposed to be 1:20 to 35. So, if we don't have shortage of teachers, it means that in every class in Ghana, basic school, senior high school level, the maximum students in the class that the teacher is supposed to handle should be 35 at most. But that is not the case. We have classes that are being handled by 75 teachers. We have classes that are being handled by we have classes that are being handled, we have centralized students that are being handled by one teacher. We have classes that have about 100 students that is being handled by one teacher. In that situation, it becomes a little bit difficult for some of us to agree to the point that we don't have teacher shortages. And when you talk about teacher deployment, that lies at the doorstep of the ministry. It's really a policy issue. Nobody in the education sector has the power to deploy teachers except a policy directive from the Ministry of Education. So if that is the challenge that he has identified, I ask myself, what has he done to ensure that this deployment issue is addressed? Again, we will have deployment issues because the very things that we have put in place to deal with teachers who are supposed to go to rural settings is still not being given them. They are supposed to have 20% of their basic pay given them. In terms of promotion, they are supposed to be given special dispensation and other things. All these things have not been given these teachers. So when you put a young guy to the village or to a deprived area, the maximum that he will stay there will be 2 years, because he looks at his colleagues in Accra and he looks at opportunities in Accra. And if he continues to stay in that particular place, it means that he's going to lag behind in terms of his personal development and other things. So definitely, he will move away. So we have not been able to design special packages for teachers that goes to these deprived areas. So yes, we will have deployment challenges because by the nature of our social development, there are places that people will not want to go. What you have to do is to provide certain amenities, certain things to make life comfortable for people who you are asking to go to this place. And these are all policy issues which lies at the doorstep of the Minister of Education. So I don't think that you should tell us what the problem is. I think that you should have used the opportunity to tell us how he is solving the problem of deployment when it comes to teachers that are not willing to go to these deprived areas. But for shortages, he also needed to look at the enrollment of people. And if he had done that, he would have seen that we have challenge with teacher-people ratio, in that most of our classes are overcrowded, and one teacher is having a lot of students, and that makes it difficult for the teacher to even pay attention to the individual development of the students in the class. And that is even more than having shortage of teachers.
But this whole discussion about providing incentives for people who are set postings to rural communities has been on the table for some time now. What has been done so far to, ensure that at least we're getting to a point where people who are there are supported in a way?
Nothing. I think, I don't know, yesterday, is it Musa? He's been talking. He's talking about the 20% that's supposed to go to these teachers that are accepting postings to rural settings. And it's not going. They are not being given that. I was even thinking that when it came to the distribution of the laptops, we could have decided that teachers in rural settings get some of these resources for free. No. So they are treated as their counterparts in Accra, in Kumasi, in all the urban centers. How do you expect these people to stay in there? And I know, Grace, you go into the hinterlands and you talk to these teachers and look at the conditions there. A young guy coming out from College of Education, around 25, 26 years, going to stay in these places or at these places. Do you think that this guy will stay there for long? There is no future for him. And that is the problem. I have been to places where NGOs have built nice accommodation for teachers, and the teachers come and they stay there. Okay, but when you have the teacher, the classroom is not anything to write home about. You don't have a staff common room. You don't even have a table that you can sit and mark students' scripts. At the same time, sometimes you go to the school and when it rains, the whole school has to come down. Sometimes you have to use a motorcycle or walk to wherever the school is. A young guy between the age of 22 to 25 will not continue to stay in this kind of environment. He would want to leave that place. And that is why when teachers are posted to these places, the maximum time they spend there is 2 years. And unfortunately, we are not doing anything. We are not doing, because if we are doing something, I think that should have been the focus for anybody addressing teachers on this particular day. That this is what we are doing for you teachers to ensure that those in these places would have the comfort to be able to deliver their mandate as teachers.
Okay, let me bring in the General Secretary of the NAT, Thomas Musa, now. Mr. Musa, so you are with the teachers. We are talking about better conditions of service. Where are we in terms of ensuring that we motivate the teachers who are set postings to these communities? I've been speaking to one of them who says that, look, even accommodation is a real challenge. They spend a lot of their money on rent.
So thank you very much. Good morning to yourself, your listeners, the panel members. And let us also use this opportunity to congratulate all teachers for the hard work that they are doing to make Mother Ghana great and strong. We also thank all of you for your support and your contributions in encouraging us in these difficult times. Now to the issue, to the substantive issue. In fact, the current conditions under which the teachers are working, particularly in the private areas, is nothing to write home about. There is nothing to write home about. You see, as far back as 2009, because of this particular challenge, we negotiated and we all agreed with the employer that 20% of the gross salary of the teacher be paid to those who are set posting to the underserved communities. 14 years down the line, that money and that allowance has not been paid. We have engaged, went to the Labor Commission, gone on strike. As we speak now, we are really been sued at the Supreme Court. In the course of fighting for these things, we are currently at the Supreme Court. When you take this matter up, people think that you don't care about the children and all that. But who speaks for the teacher? Who speaks for the teacher? They go there, they risk their life, give up everything. At the end of the day, by the time you come back as a young man, all your colleagues have gone ahead of you. You have nothing to write home about. Look, and we have said over and over again that a teacher on the current condition of service cannot return into a 2-bedroom house when you go on retirement. There is no way. You cannot return into a 2-bedroom house. And if you cannot return into a 2-bedroom house, which is a basic necessity, then how do you take care of your health, take care of your clothing and other basic necessities of life? And so this exodus thing, we need to expect more. Anyone that, look, even in Ghana here, those working in the media space now said, I can tell you on authority that we have almost about 60%, almost all your reporters are teachers. Almost all your reporters are teachers. And when they get the post, they leave. So the teaching profession has become like a stepping stone. Everybody is looking for somewhere to fix himself, him or herself, and the person will leave. Is that how we want it to be? I don't think so.
So Mr. Musa, now the president says that his government is ready to make sure that it does all it can for teachers. What do you want to see? What must happen?
Yes, you see, we want to thank the president for this particular statement. I will not banter the president, neither would I say that I don't believe the president. But having made this particular statement, in the year 2022, in Kumasi, the president told us that they will construct 10,000 houses within 2 years for teachers. We are currently, the 2 years to be ending in December. The 2 years to be ending in December. And so if the promises are made, and we see the manifestation and the fulfillment of them, teachers wouldn't have been worried and bothered so much. But the thing is that if in January 2022, we were told that 10,000 houses will be built for us, and we are in the month of October, we are left with 2 months so that 2 years will expire. And if you look into the 2017 budget, it is in there, the teacher housing scheme, it is in there. But these things have not seen the light of day. And so that is the concern. Like I've told you, A teacher cannot return into a 2-bedroom house. Aside that particular one, there are 2 more concerns. The working environment is nothing to write home about. The third one is the tools and the equipment. Look, how do you go and teach outside? Well, they are talking about artificial intelligence. We are here. When you are going to teach computer, you draw it on the board for the child to look at. Mouse, you use a stone and all that. And you expect this child to go and compete with the outside world, that because we are global village. No. How do we get on? So when we are talking about the challenges confronting education, we need to understand that the era we are now, education is capital intensive. It's capital intensive. Let me give you this particular example. Look, Thomas Edison, when he was developing the electric bulb, in the year 1920s, a journalist asked him, you failed 999 times. He said, no, I didn't fail. If they were steps that I took. So the question is, assuming when he was working, he was just looking the thing on the board or working without tools. I don't think we would have gotten the light today. Particularly because we are dealing with what we call the standard-based curriculum. And once we are dealing with the standard-based curriculum, this curriculum requires that the teacher, and then particularly the student, must have the material at his disposal to be playing with, to be learning with at his own pace. All these things are not there. And so, once the teacher comes, the teacher comes to the place with his competence, comes with morale, comes with motivation, comes with his attitude and performance. So once the environment is not good, the equipment to work with are not there. I know what time will not be permitted to talk about capitation grants and all other things because you are aware.
All right.
So once the environment is not good and all that, and there are challenges, it will affect the attitude of the teacher.
Okay.
And affect performance and competence. So at the end of the day, they will be living. And like I have said, they are rational beings. They are rational beings. And once you are a rational being, you need to think about it. Even God says that love your neighbor as
thyself. Yeah, that's very, very true. I'm grateful to you for joining us with this insight there. It tells you that really, yes, the president has spoken, but because he's made the same promise or similar promise in 2022 and it hasn't seen the light of day, he doesn't want to say it. He doesn't want to say it, but when you listen to him, they cannot really trust that.
His first response to your question about the president, he said, you could clearly tell that they've had enough of the problems. But we have been getting some feedback on social media. Gideon Omega, she's watching us live.
Okay.
And he says that he's fed up with the long talk. Teachers are not treated well. And we want them to stay.
Oh. Never. So he would leave, huh? And you see, the young guy I spoke to, that we haven't played a full interview. At a point, he said to me that if he
had
gets
the opportunity to leave,
this is a guy who's really.
I just pray we don't get. I pray we don't get to the point at which we are with the nurses, with the teachers, where we wait for huge numbers to start exiting this country because the services are needed elsewhere. And there are people willing to pay for teachers from this part of the world to come and teach in their country.
And if you listen to Musa, he said on the current conditions of service, no teacher will be able to retire into a 2-bedroom house. That's a huge statement. So if the person feels that if I go outside, for example, if I go to UK or America, and I could build a 5-bedroom house in my hometown, why not? We would run for that. So we need to have that conversation about really how do we ensure that we retain this sort of skill set in the country. We cannot use, only words to get them to stay. We need to show working, would love to have your thought on this one. So just go on to social media on Facebook and leave your comments there. We'll share that with you. We'll be picking your calls as well. But we're just going to have a short interaction on the Joy Prime Step Up. with Mercury. He's joining us for a short interaction. After that, we'll be picking your concerns on this particular subject. Stay with us. All right, so welcome back to the AM show. Let's wrap up with a conversation on the Joy Prime Step Up, which is brought to you by Syntax Tank. Yeah?
Yes.
And Mercury is here to tell us more about it. What really is it? Mercury, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. I thought you were going to come with your turntable.
You know, that's what I plan to do, but, not much time to do that. So we're going to do that proper the next time.
Oh, okay. Because when you came here, I had everybody say, turn up.
That's right.
So it means you're going to turn up the place.
Absolutely. And we're saving all of that for the Step Up show powered by Syntax Tank.
Okay.
It's really exciting. We've had the first season. Feedback's been great. There's been a lot of messages asking, so when is the season 2 coming? The great news is season 2 is here. So basically, this is a show that's been set up not just to educate and inform and to entertain, but to give a lot of cash.
Okay.
So on every show...
I love that part. We say cash.
Cash, that's right.
Cash is the engine of the world
now. That is the engine.
Yeah.
So on every show, there is the chance to win as much as 6,000 Ghana cedis.
Oh, how?
Absolutely. And beyond what happens in the studio, where, the participants get to win as much as 6,000 Ghana cedis, you, the viewer at home, stands the chance to win a huge TV set, 65 inches, and some cash as well.
Oh.
So this is how exciting.
No, tell me how I can do that.
So how you can do that is to answer the Syntax Tank question of the week, which will be on the Joy Prime Facebook page. So whilst you watch, learn, and of course, I love the fact that this is highly entertaining. Some people don't like to learn because they find it kind of discombobulating, but here
what did you say?
What did I say?
Is that
discombobulating?
Hey, what does that mean?
So it's kind of confusing.
Charlie.
And this
the quiz language, huh?
Why you should tune into the Step Up
Give me the word again.
So
I'm learning something this morning.
And you could actually
discombobulating.
That's right. So you can actually learn. You can learn a lot on the Step Up show.
So this will happen on the show.
It will happen on the show.
We'll learn words.
Learn words. I remember they thought matter is anything that has mass, weight, and can occupy space. But a lot of us have forgotten. Because a lot chewed to pour.
Yeah.
But the Step Up is saying that you don't chew to pour, you could actually chew and make cash.
Okay.
With what you learn. So it is exciting. It is premiering. Of course, we're launching it on Sunday, 7:30 p.m. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Tune in and check out my live DJ sets. What you were expecting will be all there. So watch out for that, 7:30 p.m. and from this Sunday, every other Sunday, 7:30 p.m.
Okay, all right. So this Sunday we'll all be there, and I'm sure it's going to be a discombobulating.
No, it is rather going to be something to ameliorate and not to annihilate. Because discombobulating is on the downside.
My God. Charlie, look, you have to try. Also, be a school Papa Brofo. What?
Right.
So, yes. Now we have to bring you to read the news one of these days, huh?
No, it will be a pleasure. It will be a pleasure.
No, give me another word.
Okay, so what we want to make sure to do is not to have something that is atrabularious. That is my own word. Don't look for the meaning.
What a day! Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So it means, but how does one participate?
All right. So you can, as a viewer.
Not a viewer.
Right.
I mean the participant. Or you've selected them already.
So yes. So they have been selected.
Okay.
And so that's already done.
Okay.
But as a viewer, you get to be a part by subscribing to the questions that come up on Facebook. And also there is a number.
But that question, do we do it before the event, the date?
It happens during the show.
During the show. Also, it's a live thing.
Yes, it's a live thing.
Okay.
So
it means that once we're watching, then we have to keep an eye on the Facebook page of Joy Prime.
That's right. And also keep your eye on the screen, because the question pops up and you answer, you stand a chance to win. So the number to send your, WhatsApp to is 0508 338 888.
Give me the number again.
That's 0508 338 888.
Okay, 0508 338888.
That's right.
That's it.
Right.
Okay.
Before I say goodbye, it is very, very important to say a big thank you to the brands that have supported, to make this happen. First, the biggest goes to Syntex Tank. Of course, now we don't say tank, we say Syntex.
Yeah.
Right. So a big thank you.
Tough.
You're strong and you're tough. And also to MTN Momo.
Okay.
Whatever you do, whatever transaction, just have Momo in mind. *170#.
Yeah.
Momo it everywhere you go.
It's convenient, really.
That's right. And also a big thank you to Angel Cola and, again to Syntex Tank.
They've done well.
Yes.
They're going to make us have fun on our TV.
That's right.
Every Sunday.
That's right.
Whilst we're enjoying good English.
Yes.
We're
It's not going to be flabbergasting. It's just going to be a straightforward,
Oh my goodness! I mean, it's a step up for real.
That's right.
We're going to be stepping up.
That's right.
In every facet of it.
Vocabulary in our pocket everywhere. Damn. Mentally, entertainment-wise, we are stepping up.
What school do you attend?
We'll talk about that on another day.
Oh no! You know that we're doing the NSMQ.
Yes.
Is your school in there?
My school is not in there.
Oh.
So I attended Ebenezer Secondary School.
Hey.
Yes, Padua.
It's not popular. Obianim school, no. Where is this school?
No, this is at Dansoman. I mean, the best school you can find, and
I believe because of the way you're
exactly,
speaking,
and so you can see that whatever is happening is not in our league. So hopefully there will be a bigger league that will come, and then you see us in.
Yeah, Charlie. At least we can be in the atrabiliarious league.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where we will not be annihilating anybody.
No. We have to ameliorate
people.
That's right. You got it. You are in the spirit.
No, because
yes,
we all attended, the same class of schools. My school, Badubonso, Senior High Technical School. Not many people know about it.
Not many people know about it. But that is it.
Yeah.
That is it.
We are a grade A school.
You've got it.
We can beat a lot of people.
Thank you.
We're not there yet. Maybe we're looking for the leg. This is not a leg, yeah?
It's not a leg.
It's not a leg. How can people be fighting over this?
Over matter.
No.
What has mass weight of then people are clapping.
We want it to be
atrabiliarious. We don't want any flabbergasting. We want to ameliorate, not to annihilate.
Yeah. But that first word is what?
Did I forget that one? Wait. What was
said like a discomfort something? You give me a certain word. It was so sweet, huh? But we'll share it again. Okay, I'll come back again.
Okay, sure.
Charlie. Okay. All right. So it means that give me the time again. This Sunday.
All right. So this Sunday, 7:30 p.m. live on Joy Prime Television, the best TV station when it comes to entertainment, and of course now there's education, and now you are making money.
Yeah,
that is really great.
That's what it is. So it's the Step Up show with Syntex Tank coming up this Sunday and every other Sunday on Joy Prime. So do make a date on that one. Mike, grateful to you for passing through.
Awesome. I'd love to do this again. It's very fun being on the show with you.
Very. It's a real fun.
Yes.
But so how do you wrap it all up in one?
Right. So all I have to say is it's time to step up. It's time to step up your game. It's time to ameliorate your mental faculty and also enhance your pocket, because Christmas is just around the corner, and you want a fun way to make money.
Yeah.
Money is something we all need.
We all need it.
Make sure that you are there to get a bit of that.
Mercury, Charlie, great to have you here. So catch him up on Joy Prime on Sunday, 7:30, and do learn more. And whilst learning more, you're earning more as well. It's a game that you and I would have to participate in. So the participants are there. We can watch on TV and still be making money. I've taken the number already. I'll share that with you. At 0508 33 8888. Take it up so that when the question pops up, you can answer the question and win for yourself that giant television set. When I win it, I'll invite you to my house so that you can watch a beautiful game, involving now my very Manchester United. We don't know what's happening to us, but you can watch that game and any other game. Well, so this has been the AM show. On behalf of the crew, we have the camera guys, the directors, our producers, and everybody, we say thank you for allowing us to be part of your morning. To those of you who are celebrating your birthdays today, please do have a blessed one. Enjoy it to the fullest, and we'll meet again, God willing, some other time. When we leave you, News Desk will be up next at 10 a.m. Do enjoy the rest of our programs on this channel. Remember that we are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. My name is Samuel Kojo. Brace at this with my colleague Bernice Abobedu Lanza. We'll meet again, God willing, another time. Please be good and enjoy your weekend.